I'm trying to see how we can word this. I'll say the E word rhymes with erection, but it's when you cast votes. It rhymes with erection, but it's when you cast votes. So we're gonna be talking about that from the year 2020, and we're gonna try to see if we can discuss. That's not our only topic like yesterday because Trump was going to speak, and that's why it came up in such detail. But today we are going to be talking about the fact that Trump did address the nation last night. And it was about exactly what I just said. The E word rhymes. I'll say this a few times as people continue filtering in here, but we're going to be talking about President Trump addressing the nation last night, and he was talking about the E word. Rhymes with erection is when you cast votes. I hate that I can't come out and say what I want to say, damn it, but TikTok has gotten to be so heavy on censorship that I'm trying to play by their rules to some degree. So, happy Friday. Good evening to all you folks. You guys know how the program is ran. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Several topics to talk about today, but this is also a Friday evening politics session. So, that means when you come on or when you're in the comment section, you can steer this show any direction you want to. Anything political you want to discuss or the goings on of today, if we got answers, we'll certainly tackle it. If it's worthy of discussion, we have no problem discussing it. So Friday night politics show, Friday night shows can go in any direction, kind of like a free for all. And we used to call them free for alls when I first started doing them. So this is a Friday night show, but certainly by way of yes or no, how many of you saw President Trump's 26-minute speech last night? 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes or no? Did you catch President Trump's 26-minute speech? And I see in the comments, I'm having a hard time seeing the names on some of these, but Kale says, why he sound like a broken record every speech? He really believes in what he believes in. He does say the same thing over and over again. But how many of you folks caught the 26-minute speech last night? You can catch it on YouTube if you didn't see it last night. But as Kel said in the comments, it's going to be familiar language. Now, he promised to release something big, some big information. By all accounts, it sounds like it was a bust. I watched a lot of media. I watched the speech live, by the way, and I watched some repeats. I watched some of the political, some of the political analysts, go over it and things like that. And from what I can tell, Fox News, by the way, Fox News really did not cover it in detail much beyond last night. They have not really talked about what he talked about yesterday. So that's a pretty indicative sign of whether or not it was of any value at all. Fox News was not touting that as some great speech. So think about that. Now, he accused China of interfering. He accused Russia of interfering. As I stated, we're going to try to avoid saying the word because TikTok's censorship is so great. But we're talking about the erection. It rhymes with what you do. It rhymes with what you do and causes you to vote. We're talking about the erection, and we're talking about President Trump discussing this event that took place in 2020 last night. Yeah, like I said, from what I can tell, him addressing the nation did not change any hearts and minds at all. That's a good way of putting it. No, I think that says Rosemar. Yeah, a 2020 contest. I like that. That's a great way of putting it. Or selection. You guys coming up with some really good synonyms or ways to say it. Yeah, the 2020 contest. I love that. We'll go with that. So, do you think it changed any hearts and minds? Do you think anyone watched President Trump had a different opinion about that contest 6 years ago and walked away from that speech that Trump gave last night with a totally different opinion on how they felt about that contest? Do you think anyone had their hearts and minds changed based on the information Trump presented last night. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, I doubt it. I really, really doubt it, because what many of the analysts are suggesting is that most of the stuff that Trump presented was already available anyway. By the way, in regards to accusing both Russia and China of interfering in that contest, um, in 2021, our own intelligence agencies determined China did not interfere. So I don't know where Trump is getting this information to suggest they did. By the way, both China and Russia spoke in the last 24 hours and addressed Trump's comment, and they both denied any validity to what Trump stated. I want to, before we start taking calls and getting the show on board, one thing we have to talk about is, if you know they interfered, why are you always speaking so highly of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin? If they tried to prevent you, or better yet, they did prevent him from being victorious, according to President Trump himself, they interfered and did prevent him from winning that contest in 2020, then why are you continuing to make it sound like they're great, intelligent leaders? Make that make sense. You should be now discussing what kind of sanctions and punishments you're going to impose on those nations for interfering with our contest over here. You don't hear that, because many believe it has nothing to do with international concerns at all. He's just trying to sway hearts and minds here domestically, which is why I asked you folks, did it change any hearts and minds here? In the comments, Handsome Conservative says, in Sticks Live, but I had to stop by and say and support your local liberal. Thank you, Conservative. I appreciate you stopping by. Come on back anytime. Alberto Santo Dumont says, since I can't find it, do you have a schedule? No, I don't, because unfortunately I have a day job and I'm not always set up at the same time, but generally 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. Central, you can come check it. If we're going to be on, we're going to be on around that time. But the exact starting time varies by about a good half hour to 45-minute swing. So been working on trying to get a set schedule, but if the show is on too late, it affects the viewership. And I can only guarantee being on early enough. But I do appreciate the fact that you even asked. Thank you for tuning in. So in addition to talking about President Trump's speech yesterday, I want to run a couple other things by you. I got to get your opinion on this. You tell me if this is announcing. I'm trying to get you tell me if you think this is a legitimate source of income, or does this sound like this may have a potential for corruption? If I can get it queued up here. This is crazy in my opinion.
Announcing plans to profit from the president's social media posts.
Yes, George, the president's media company will now sell quicker access to President Trump's social media posts on his social media platform, Truth Social. Users will be able to pay for immediate access to what the president says. The president has a history of announcing major things on Truth Social, from military action to domestic and foreign policy trade deals, long before we even get an official statement from the White House. And that's what has watchdog groups particularly concerned, that this could give another way for President Trump to profit off of the presidency, George.
Right, so many of those posts have also been about companies the president's invested in.
So now President Trump, via Truth Social, you can pay President Trump to get quicker access to what he's posting online. Now, he's announced tariffs online. He's announced when he's going to hit Iran online. He's announced a lot of things that would lead to very smart, intelligent wages in the stock market or bets in the poly market. So fact is, if you know what he is saying, or planning rather, if you know what he is planning to do quicker than everyone else, that could be a financial windfall to you. Like if he states that I'm going to increase the tariffs on Canada about 20%, and you know that before everyone else, you would know which businesses are going to get affected by that and maybe how you would invest in markets that pertain to Canada. So what he is doing is giving folks a leg up and it could help them make extra money. And because you got to pay for this, it's probably not going to be something that is going to be profitable to you or me or even lower level investors. This is the big guys. This is certainly a throwback to the big guys. Does this? But President Trump's going to make money off of this. President Trump is going to make money off of this. I'm asking you folks, does this sound like a legit method of him earning extra cash, or do you think it sounds corrupt? Type in the comments, legit or corrupt. This is something, you see, this is George Stephanopoulos of ABC News this week, this week with George Stephanopoulos. I don't know how much he's charging, Chris. Don't know, but the fact is he is charging. He is going to profit from this. Listen, it's President Trump. It's a guy that made $2.2 billion in a single year. He's not going to charge $10. He knows what this information can do to those who have it. He's not going to charge you just $10 to get access to his statements before everybody else. It's probably going to cost you a good piece of change that maybe some average folks can't pay. I doubt if it's $5 or $10. I really do believe it's going to be more than that. But in the comments, do you think it's a legit way of earning, or does that sound corrupt? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of politicians that are either trying to get paid or not, I want you to hear this because this guy is constantly in the news. This is Zohran Mamdani of New York, the mayor of New York. It's only a 30-second clip, but I found this to be very interesting considering how he's been judged so far.
And if the city council passes this,
I don't know why it's so low. Hang on a second.
You won't.
Okay, hang on a second. It's low because there's a reporter asking him a question, but I believe his answer will be notable.
If the city council passes this pay raise bill, I know you've said you won't accept.
I will not accept the pay raise.
Can you just elaborate on why?
I haven't knocked on anyone's door in New York City and they've said their concern is that the mayor makes too little. So,
Thank you, everyone.
That's not my concern either.
Thank you.
It won't be mine. If it was mine, then that would mean I would accept. Yeah. I think to go to the pockets of those who are struggling in this city.
I'll see if I can find a louder clip. That clip's not very loud, but he is turning down a pay raise. The city of New York, as the mayor, they were going to raise his salary to $309,000. That's a lot of money. He's going to make $309,000 a year. He is turning that pay raise down, and he said, He said, out of all the doors I knocked on, I've never had somebody respond with the biggest thing they're concerned with is the mayor not making enough money. So that's interesting. I mean, that's what Trump came on the scene stating, is that he was not going to take a salary. Let me see if this clip is a little bit louder.
The city council.
No, all of them are pretty damn low like that.
Said you won't accept.
I will not accept the pay raise.
Can you
Yeah.
just elaborate on why?
I haven't knocked on anyone's door in New York City and they've said their concern is that the mayor makes too little. So,
Thank you, everyone.
That's not my concern either.
Thank you.
It won't be mine. If it was mine, then that would mean I would accept. Yeah. To go to the pockets of those who are struggling in this city.
And they asked him where would he want the money to go, and he said to the pockets of those who are struggling. That's Mamdani, the socialist that's going to turn America into China or Russia. This is the guy they're comparing to Stalin and comparing him to Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un. That's what this guy is saying. He's not taking a salary. So I don't know why the clips are so low on YouTube, but I tried to find additional clips. They're all pretty low like that, but think about that. In the comments, Jeremy says that doesn't mean much. It's interesting you would say that because I talked to probably 100 different respondents who mentioned how much it meant that Trump was not taking a salary. It still comes up occasionally. Not as much, now that the guy is making $2.2 billion in a single year, but that was something constantly brought up, is that we can trust Trump because he came with his own money and he's not even taking a salary, so we know he's not on the take. All of a sudden, Mamdani refuses to take a pay raise, and well, that don't mean much now, huh? Okay. All right. I'm just asking. I got to throw it out there. That's Mamdani. I haven't heard many politicians of any type say that. How many politicians are turning down raises and saying they would rather the money go to struggling constituents? You give them no credit at all for that, huh? I tend to think if Trump had said something like that, people would be celebrating it. Last but not least, Senator Tillis is at it. I'll go to the box, start taking calls, tap the screen, get us up to 15,000. Check this. Now, Tillis, I believe, is no fan of Trump anymore. He's a Republican senator. But I do want you to hear this.
Drop by a member of this Senate or the White House that will undermine this bill, undermine what we need to get done before the election.
Now, the bill he's talking about is the Save America Act. He's talking about, because Trump obviously desperately wants the Save America Act passed.
Implemented by November. The only thing that will occur is an undermining of the election integrity, the integrity of our elections right now. Let's stop the charade. Let's stop the distraction. Let's get the government funded. Let's use reconciliation if we need to, but let's not clog it up with another piece of policy airdropped by a member of this Senate or the White House that will undermine this bill, undermine what we need to get done before the election. What we're going to do if we continue down this path is to convince the American people that you can't count on your election results. And that is dangerous. That is irresponsible. If you see voting improprieties in your state, report them. There are tools right now to investigate them. But don't further undermine the confidence of the American people by saying, my goodness, they can't get this implemented. The election must be invalid. That is not America that I signed up. That is not an America that anybody should sign up for. We got to do it right, and we've got to do the work. So, Mr. President, if I see a reconciliation bill come from the House with another failed attempt to confuse this election, I will use every device I have available to slow down the wheels of government until people cop a clue and do the math.
That's Senator Tillis, a Republican, making it clear he thinks Trump is trying to confuse the Americans going into the midterms. Wow. Wow. Now, we'll go ahead and get on with the program. And Blue One Banks, your support certainly did not go unnoticed. I want to certainly say thank you for the hat, mustache, and TikTok caps. Thank you, Blue One Banks. Appreciate that. So you hear him saying that the Save America Act he said there's no way in hell this will get passed by November. Now, I saw somebody in the comments saying take the pork out of the bill. I'm going to tell you, in my humble opinion, at this period in time, with the midterms only been 3 months away, I don't care what you do to the bill. It shouldn't pass. It's too fucking close. It's too close to pass something like this that has all of these Americans, millions of Americans scrambling to get documents and prove who they are with only, less than 3 months to go. It's too close at this point. I would certainly entertain parts of the Save America Act going into the 2028 national election. That's plenty of time to get out the bells and whistles, but it's too close at this point to do this before the midterms. I just, for that purpose alone, I'm not going to favor it. It's just way too close, and it would cause a mess. In the comments, somebody said that's what the SCOTUS would say. Yeah, like I said, it's too close. Let me go straight to the box. We'll go straight to Rainey's backup. Good evening, Rainey. Welcome to the program. Haven't had you on in a while. Good to have you. Tim, you don't think that part of the plan, what do you mean, Super 8? You don't think that you don't think, yeah, it is part of the plan. Yeah, that's what Tillis is saying is part of the plan. It's to confuse folks, make them not trust the voting contest and cause a mess. Yeah, it is part of the plan. And I watched a lot of different news outlets today, and virtually all of the political analysts are saying exactly that. What Trump was on television talking about last night and the Save America Act, the goal is exactly what Senator Tillis is saying here, is to literally reduce folks' trust in the way we do business in this democracy or in this republic. Everybody's saying it. So I think if there's one piece of good news, I'll go to the next caller. I don't know what happened with my last caller with Rainey, but if there's one piece of good news, I think President Trump has screamed about this stuff so much that it has made his intentions clear to all but the most devoted supporters of him. Everybody else, I think, now are on board with the idea that maybe he's trying to, create mistrust in the system. Other than his most loyal supporters, I think everyone else, from the traditional Republicans throughout the independents, all the way to the far left, that entire spectrum, I think, are all in sync now that maybe what he is doing has a separate agenda from just making the contest free and fair. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get the likes on up. Looking in the comments, and if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. Critical infrastructure, national security. The evidence dropped yesterday lays the foundation for it. I don't know, but like I said, it's with only 3 months remaining. I think it's way too close to do this. Our own intelligence agencies, the ones that signed that laptop, was Russian misinfo. Our intelligence agency stated that China in particular did not interfere, as Trump said. We'll go to the box. We'll make it happen with Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Dork, what's up?
Nah, but did you catch Trump speak last night?
Nah, I had shit to do. I have a life.
Okay, it's only 20.
There's more to life than politics, man.
Well, 26 minutes, though. By the way, his politics could greatly affect your life. So I don't say you... I don't say you totally ignore him, because what he is doing is affecting the lives of Americans. But, I mean, it's a 26-minute speech. Even if you had business last night, it's all over the internet. Have you heard any excerpts from it?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. So zero interest.
Nah, here's the thing. I will hear things about it. People are going to talk about it. And anything that I need to know, I'll pick up secondhand.
Okay, well, depending on where you pick it up, it may not be accurate. I mean, so you probably better off hearing it coming from the horse's mouth. But we'll get into the gist of it. First of all, I know how you feel about Mamdani. Did you see the clip I just played?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Fuck him.
The man is refusing to take it.
Let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Okay.
The difference between what he's being paid now and what he's got and what he could have been paid is not going to make much. You have to do the math as to how many people live in New York. Even if they took every single dollar that he was going to get paid and gave it to the New York people, they'd get less than a penny.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not arguing with that. But what I'm saying is that meant something when Trump said he wasn't taking a salary, which he governs even more people than Mamdani, and they would get even less than a penny. Yet everybody thought that was a really notable thing for him to do, not take a salary.
Yeah, I don't care. They can go jerk each other off in the bathroom. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. Here's the thing. Is it weird if somebody takes a large pay raise that they gave themselves, especially if people aren't doing too well? Yeah. But other than that, it doesn't make much of a difference to me. And not only that, this is the same mayor that shut down a huge percentage of New York for a fucking wedding between two celebrities. And cut off a bunch of other people, okay?
Wait a minute. He didn't shut. That's not true. He didn't shut down. What? You got an event going on in what is it? Madison Square Garden. You're talking about the Taylor Swift wedding, okay? Yeah. Any event that goes on in the Madison Square Garden gets the same amount of shutdown that what he did got. I mean, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. They didn't get any special treatment. They paid a fortune.
Yes, they did.
In what way?
They shut down a huge percentage of Madison Square Garden. No, sorry, not of Madison Square Garden, but of New York, or in that specific, and a lot of surrounding areas. That it was way unprecedented for just something as stupid as that. And it's at the same time, Mamdani was telling people, you need to keep your thermostats at 78 degrees. I guarantee you that was not the temperature at that fucking wedding. Fuck Mamdani.
I think you just got.
He's such a hypocritical bitch.
Well, he ain't been in office long enough for you to hate him that much. And by the way, Taylor Swift and her new beau, they paid for the police that were out in the streets.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. Mamdani said they did.
Special treatments. They were getting special treatments
based on
because Mamdani wants their votes and they want their endorsements. He wants their endorsement in the future.
Why wouldn't you expect a huge celebrity that's bringing in a ton of money. I mean, why wouldn't you expect them to? You want them to just walk down the street with no security?
They don't need that level of security, not the kind that they were given. They already have private security. And the police, they could have had a much smaller police force and a much smaller amounts of New York shutdown and done the exact same thing and been perfectly fine. They did not. And then here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Most people who have big weddings, they don't stay married for very long because they oftentimes have the wrong reasons.
What does that got to do with it? Scumbags. Thank you. What is that?
It just shows you the mindsets of these people. Rules for thee, but not for me.
I mean, listen, she's a fucking billionaire 2 times over. You were right. People at that level, rules for thee, not for me. I mean, if Elon Musk decided to go to Madison Square Garden and give some speech on technology inventions or whatever, you don't think they would do the same thing for him? You don't think the security would be outrageous for Elon?
Not at the same level. Not at the same level. Not only that, but that would bring in way more revenue because the average everyday person could be buying tickets to that. This is just a handful of her friends that shut down most of New York.
I think this is a few hours, Jeremy. I mean,
it's not a few hours. It took multiple days.
No, New York was not shut down for multiple days because of their wedding.
Correction, most of one day. Correction. There you go.
Are the people in New York really bitching and complaining as much as you?
Yes.
I haven't heard this. I haven't heard this.
You live in Chicago. You're in the Midwest like me. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but I heard that she got married in New York. I did hear about the wedding. I just didn't hear about all the bitching and complaining that you're doing.
That's because you didn't pay attention.
You didn't watch the fucking president address the goddamn nation last night. But yet you're worried about Taylor Swift in the city you don't live in? Really? I didn't pay attention.
I'm saying it shows priorities. This is somebody who wants to be for the people, but he's not. And by the way, it makes sense that he would do this because he comes from an extremely wealthy family. He's not a working class man. He's a failed rapper who couldn't make it in the big times. He's not someone I respect. He's never done anything significant in his life.
Who's the failed rapper? Who are you talking about?
Mamdani.
Oh my God! You reduced my.
And he's the definition of
Wait, hold on. You reduced the mayor of the. Hold on, hang on. You reduced it. Hold on. I'll let you talk. Hold on. You're reducing the mayor of the nation's largest city all the way down to a failed rapper. Is that what you said?
He's never done anything else. He's never done anything else in his life. He's not an accomplished person. Okay? He came from an extremely wealthy background. His mom is one of the biggest executives in Bollywood. Okay? He has never known discomfort. He is a champagne socialist.
Well, in regards to him never accomplishing anything, and I don't know what his resume is, so I can't necessarily argue with you on that. But fact is, there are plenty of mayors who rose from virtually nothing to govern towns. Maybe remember, this is why I always say Kamala Harris, despite her resume, was a bad candidate compared to other folks. Is because at the end of the day, it's not about what you've actually done. It's about how you can relate to the people and what they want. So the people, everybody that Mamdani ran against, Cuomo, the mayor that now fled the damn city, they all were highly qualified compared to Mamdani. But it's about what you say when you're a politician. It's not about what's on your resume. And what he said sounded way better than what Cuomo and the rest of them were offering.
Well, guess what? That's because socialists know how to lie to people about what they can actually do. The socialism has been tried multiple times throughout the world, and it has always failed. And guess what? I'm going to tell you something about socialism, okay? It's an evil ideology.
Evil.
It is objectively evil because everywhere it's been tried, there has been starvations, mass censorship, murder, and rape.
So we're just going to ignore what we're doing in this country, the immigrants,
shut the fuck up.
How we cut up. No, you want some bullshit. You on some bullshit. You on some bullshit.
No. I'm gonna call you on your bullshit now.
Let me know when you get around to the bullshit, because right now that's what you're doing. Let me know when you get around to the bullshit. Go ahead.
Okay. Here. Okay. Sit your ass down, sweetheart, and hold my beer.
What are you trying to do? Suck some dick?
Capitalism
What are you getting at?
Capitalism has pulled more people out of poverty than any other system on earth.
And it ain't put people in. So you're going to give credit.
China.
You're going to give credit to all the people capitalism has pulled out of poverty. What about all the people it's put into poverty?
None.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. You don't think
no. I'm gonna challenge you on this. Okay? I'm gonna challenge you on this. Okay? Even in the places where people have been exploited, they've become richer. Now they have been mistreated. They've been lured in by the chance to make more money to get poor working conditions and oftentimes overworked for multiple hours. Okay, but in return they get more money from capitalists than they could ever get from their local economy.
So all of these homeless people in America,
there's a reason why sweatshops get filled with people willing to work for them. It's not because they're forced to. It's because even though they're not getting paid what they should be getting paid, and they have terrible working conditions, they get paid relatively more than what they get paid anywhere else by capitalists who make products for Americans to buy. Everywhere capitalism goes, it makes people better off, at least financially. Now, there are plenty of problems like commodification.
like lack of health care.
The United States healthcare is not capitalist. I'm tired of people saying that bullshit. There's no evidence for that. Okay? It may be technically private, but it's barely that as it is. I mean, you don't have real competition.
Your statement that capitalism has not put anybody into poverty is insane that you believe that. Nobody has been put into poverty due to capitalism. Every time you listen, money is not made in a fucking vacuum, Jeremy. If you're making money, somebody else is probably losing money. It's as simple as that.
You don't know how economics works.
Bullshit. Hold on. Let me give you the best example of capitalism in America. Walmart. Walmart is a perfect example. You think Walmart is not bankrupting and hurting other people financially? All of the businesses that went out of business because Walmart rose up, Amazon's doing the same shit. For you to say capitalism doesn't make people poor is insane.
Hey, guess what happens when Walmart puts those businesses out of business?
They go out of business.
They join Walmart.
Right, and Walmart pays them less. And Walmart pays you less than what you would have made at Circuit City or Radio Shack, Montgomery Wards or Kmart. All of the businesses they replace, you make less when you work for them. Period.
It depends. Wait, no, hold on a minute. That depends on what position you actually have.
Oh my God. You know what I'm talking, Jeremy, the average salary for Walmart employees, when Walmart rose to the top and closed all those businesses, their average salary, don't give a fuck what you're doing. It was less than the average salary for that same job in those places that they closed down. You don't know that?
Tim, you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You have not taken a single economics class in your life. I can just tell.
It's like got nothing to do with economics class. Walmart has a long and lengthy history of paying its employees like shit. You don't need to go to class to hear that.
They pay you $15 an hour. That's way above the minimum wage. Which, by the way, here's something that nobody wants to hear. Here's something that the black community needs to fucking hear. 90% of the financial problems you have in your life is because you suck. And you deserve to be poor.
That's about the most racist thing I ever heard you say, dude.
I don't care.
I know you don't care. That's why you fucking said it. I know you don't care.
Let's go.
You wouldn't have said that racist if you did care. You got a noose in the background? Mike, good evening.
What's up? You owe me a galaxy from yesterday, too, when you let the other dumbass get the lie taken down. Right in
What's
the
up,
middle
Michael,
of
the employee? How you fucking doing?
Okay.
Yeah, Mike.
Did you just hear what this man said?
Tim, you gotta understand, he's lonely, trolling, and he's just trolling right now.
Trolling to be, what is he, pretending to be racist?
Well, no, he's racist, but he's trolling with the
This is a Jeremy, I'm going to be honest with you. Me and Jeremy been talking for a while. This Jeremy, this Klan sounding Jeremy. I ain't never seen this dude before. He must have cut some holes in his sheet or something. I never seen him talking like this.
No, he's been around, but he's wrong.
There's nothing Klan about telling you that you can make your life better when you stop blaming everybody.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Jamie.
You stop blaming other people, your life would suck.
Mr. Economist, can I ask you a question?
What?
Are profit margins a part of capitalism?
Yes.
How important are profit margins when you talk about capitalism?
Pretty important.
So in order to continue to grow your business, you have to keep your margins consistent, right?
I would say you have to at least keep them from going too thin. But they can fluctuate.
That would be keeping them.
They can fluctuate.
I didn't say they can fluctuate. I said they have to be consistent, meaning that you can't have multiple quarters of low profit margins before it impacts your business. Yes.
Yes.
And so let me give you a perfect example of how capitalism makes people poor. Shall we?
Let's do it.
If a company is losing money like they did with the tariffs, but they want to keep their profit margin, see Walmart's quarterly investor calls for everything I'm about to tell you. If they're not making money, but they want to keep their margins consistent, what do, Jeremy?
They have to raise the prices.
No, if they don't raise prices, I just said if they don't raise prices, they want to keep their margins consistent. What do?
They'll have to shut down a few stores.
And what happens when they do that?
Well, people lose their jobs.
And so if those people are losing their source of income through this capitalistic society that is created, because let's be clear, these companies are not losing profit when they can cut their costs by firing people.
That's not firing, that's laying off. There's a big difference. Hold on.
What?
You're blaming capitalism for a tariff. A government imposed.
No, I didn't say that. Whoa, I didn't say that. That's not what I said at all. I used tariffs as the reason the company needs to keep their profit margins higher. So therefore, they will cut people. Lay off, cut. They're all the same. They don't have income, which creates what, Jared?
Less money flowing from people to people.
Poverty.
So those people don't have income, the same income, and they can't find a job, even if it's 6 months. Has that decision for that corporation to maintain their profit margin versus help these people maintain their income a component and directly related to capitalism?
Nope. That's related to reality.
No, it's capitalism.
Yes,
Jeremy.
it fucking is, and I'm going to tell you
this
why.
is where.
No, I'm going to talk now. You can shut the fuck up.
This is where you're more.
Wait, you can't be hostile. Listen, Jeremy, I don't know what the fuck you own. You own some fentanyl or some shit. You're being deliberate. Wait, you're being deliberately hostile for the sake of being hostile. I mean, he's having a conversation. Let the motherfucker talk, then you talk. But just saying crazy shit like what you doing now. What are you on some? You on some? This ain't what you normally sound like, cuz.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. Guys, I'm tired of you guys promoting systems that starve people. You promote ideologies.
Ain't nobody starving to death. What country features people starving to death? Where the fuck are you going? Who's starving to death? Give me Ukraine. They're at war.
I'm not talking modern day Ukraine. Modern day Ukraine isn't socialist. I'm talking about when the Russians and the Soviets went in and committed the Holodomor. You want to know why they did that? Because they didn't have enough grain in their own countries. Russia's economy was shit because of their communist ideals. That's why they stole thousands of pounds of grain, and they starved the Ukrainians to death. During one of the greatest, as in by great, I mean,
what are you expecting? You expecting Mamdani to
people of all time?
You expecting Mamdani to invade Syracuse, New York, or something? What are you talking about?
New York will end up falling as an American city. Socialism doesn't work. It's been tried everywhere. Let me address something Mike talked about earlier. He said, profit margins need to stay this much. Profit margins don't tell you the total amount of money you're making. They just tell you the difference between how much money you're spending versus how much money you made total. That's the difference. But if they're shutting down stores, more than likely, everybody's making less money, including the people at the top. Everybody, he loses money when tariffs.
That's not how it works.
No.
That's not
Yes,
how
it
it works at all,
is.
Jeremy,
If the
listen.
profit margins stay the same, but the total profits are down and they have to let people go, that means the total that the company makes is less.
That's not true, and I'm about to explain it to you. I'm about to explain it to you. You should know better than this. You should know better than this. Let's use Walmart. Are they publicly traded?
Yes, Walmart is publicly traded last time.
Still want to keep those shareholders happy. What do they do, Jeremy?
Wait, say that last part again.
Again, because you got to sell things to make your sales forecast, right?
Right.
But that's not the only way that you can maintain that profit margin, yes?
Can you see the devil?
Yes.
Overhead to keep that profit margin consistent, correct?
Yes.
So when they forecast and say they're going to do 18 billion for the quarter, and as they're going through that second quarter and they get into the second month and going, we're not hitting that number, they're going to make adjustments to try to hit that number as much as possible while still moving the business forward. What's the first thing they do? What's the fastest way to keep that profit margin?
Probably need to reduce.
Not probably.
To reduce their overhead.
And so, what's the easiest way to reduce that overhead? What commodity can you? What moves can you do to make that happen, Jeremy? Come on now.
Shut down some of your stores.
And you don't have to shut down stores. It's just getting rid of people.
No, even that they wouldn't be able to do. They can only do. At best they could do a skeleton and crew if they don't shut down the entire store.
You're still getting rid of people.
It's not. I'm not talking about the store. I'm not talking about just the store, Jeremy. I'm talking about people. You have to understand. They're going to maintain. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go look at any publicly traded companies' investor relations calls over the last 6 years during COVID. I mean, during C-19 up until today, when all of the tariffs. I know this just to sit on those calls for over a decade. I know exactly how this shit works. And when they have reduction in force, because your name and your social number is connected to total compensation. So if you make $75K a year, that's not your total compensation, is it, Jeremy?
No.
Huh?
I think, Jeremy, to me, it sounds like you've been educated by some far-right economics guy that just hates socialism and comes with this weird shit. But
Okay, let me ask you this economic question then. Okay, let's say you have company A, okay, and the company A is run by whoever. Doesn't really fucking matter. Okay, company A has about some 35 stores. Or is okay, yeah, and then it's all of a sudden, and you put in a system like socialism, okay. Now, company A wants to run their business by selling a certain amount of product C. Product C sells really good in a certain region of the United States, but it doesn't sell very good in other parts of the United States because of climates. But now the government decides is that because they want you to sell more product C everywhere, they tell you that you now have to sell more of it. What's going to happen to that product? What's going to happen when it reaches shelves?
A company's not going to do that. They're not going to push product in the area.
They're told by the government you have
why
to.
would the government try to force you to sell something in the area where nobody's buying it? I don't get that.
I don't know, but socialists do it all the time.
It doesn't happen. That's not a thing, Jeremy.
It does.
Give me a real life example of where.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean,
Just one.
You know what? Here's a simpler example. Something that.
I want that example.
Yeah, I don't.
Please, kind sir.
Okay, grain during the Soviet Union.
Grain?
Yes, grain.
What about it?
There's certain areas where it's produced more than others, right? Like in the South, right?
It's produced, yes. But you were talking about sold.
Right. Well, maybe that was a better
production. Okay, because production and selling aren't the same.
Right. Okay. Fine. And that's maybe a bad example. Okay. Here's a better policy. Here's a better policy that is when all of a sudden, and you say that a price of a product, like let's say housing, can't go above a certain amount in order to be charged to the customer. What happens?
Based on what? You said can't go over can go over a
It's a
certain price
policy
station.
enacted by the government. Enacted by the government.
Again, what policy you're asking? You're asking a question that doesn't exist. They can't tell you what price you can charge above a certain amount.
No. There's no price control. Yeah, first off, yeah, in New York they already do tell you can't charge beyond a certain amount. They already do that.
Of my own products?
If it's yes in housing, yes, they say you can't charge more than I don't remember the exact number, but it was like some thousand for certain units in New York City.
If it's funded, if it's funded by the federal government, they may be able to tell it for price control, but they're giving you the revenue to do so. They can't tell me as a private.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's not even for government-funded housing. It's for housing on the private market. They legally can do that. They legally can.
I actually think I actually think what you're talking about, Jeremy. Some of the stuff you're saying don't exist. I think some of the stuff you're saying really does not exist anywhere. I just think you got this horrible view of socialism, and it's happening. It's kind of like what Trump said. You can have any house you want. We'll give you anything. That ain't happening nowhere in the world. I mean, some of the stuff you're talking about, I don't think that stuff is really happening anywhere on earth.
Look it up. So, Tim, I just want to really prove this point. I know we don't have much time left, but please, look up how price controls New York City apartments.
That's rent.
Yeah.
Yes. As in you're not allowed to charge more than a certain amount to your customers.
That's rent. That's again.
That is
And it's not only rent, it's only a certain type of housing, like a Section 8 housing. It's not even all of the rents in New York. It's only certain.
No, hold on a minute. There's plenty of private market. It's rents that you are not allowed to charge more than a certain amount.
It's if you got a lease already, they can't charge you rent for a certain period of time. And if I'm correct, it's only on like subsidized housing. It's not applying to every single rented unit in New York. I mean, that's not across the board what you're even talking about.
Oh my God, this is so. I don't know why you.
I had a guy on the program from New York. We covered this.
Research.
I had a guy on the program from New York that liked it, and he explained it perfectly. Hold on, YouTube. Rita Rabble says companies are simultaneously exploiting employees, and it's a shame if people get paid off. Well, it's a shame because that's absolutely happening. But I think you're going overboard, Jeremy. A lot of stuff you're talking about, a lot of your fears of socialism. First of all, they have no chance of that stuff happening in America. But I believe you can be Mamdani and not even intend to do half of the stuff you're even concerned with.
Tim, okay, I'm just going to explain what I was trying to make.
Before you let him go, I don't know. I came up, but I didn't. I mean, before Jeremy, who was we people?
The black community.
And what do you know about the black community?
FBI statistics. That's all I need to know.
So what that does. So you're saying that
the word per
FBI
capita scary?
Are you saying that FBI statistics are the only thing that identifies the black community?
No, but you don't believe I said that.
No. I'm asking you. So you don't believe that that's the only identifier for a black community?
No, but it's the relevant parts of this conversation. So it must be relevant for white communities as well. Yes. Let me just ask you a question.
I want to hear the answer to that one. I want you to answer his. You can ask him a question, Jeremy, but I want you to ask his. If you're going to say the FBI numbers matter for the black community, he asked you, do they also matter for the white community?
You know what? Sure, I'll answer his question. Then I'll ask him a question. The answer is yes, absolutely. It does apply to the white community. It applies to all communities. Now, here's my question. Does the word per capita scare you?
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, okay. Let's do this then. Let's go.
Well, I don't get this going. Well, hold on. Well, I know where you're trying to go.
I do too.
It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well for you, though. I can guarantee you that.
Let's do it.
And we don't have the time because you're. I
give you a little bit more time. I want to hear this.
But yeah, go ahead. Wherever you want to go with this, but make sure if you go to table 43, those are arrests and not convictions.
Yeah, we're going to certainly get 1350 out of this, right, Jeremy? We're going to get some 1350, right?
Of course.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Even if you just only look at convictions, black people account for a larger percentage of total convictions per capita than white people do.
capita, right?
Yes, for violent crime. Yes.
Okay, got you. So for all violent crime, that's not true. But see,
Really?
So again, are you talking, before you go there, are you talking all violent crime?
Yes.
Robbery would be considered that, correct?
Yes.
Rape, SA,
Yes.
all crimes against children,
Yes.
burglary, right? Assault.
Yes.
All of those numbers combined? Absolutely not, Jeremy. Pull it
Yes,
up, Jeremy. Pull it up, Jeremy. All you gotta do is pull it up, my friend. And the reason I asked you that, who leads in robbery in this country?
Black people.
No.
Tim, could you
Wait,
pull it
Tim.
up for us?
No. You do your work. Don't ask Tim to pull
No,
it
I'm willing to contribute a little bit of time. I'm willing to. You tell me how to phrase it. I'll look it up the way you say to look it up.
But who commits? Wait. That's too ambiguous. Okay, which racial group can? What did? You know what? Actually, let's go with that.
Okay.
Which racial group commits the most violent crime per capita in the United States?
Okay.
I love how they throw per capita in
Yeah.
there.
Okay,
You know why I say that?
Because that's the number that really matters.
No, it's not.
I know.
It's
I know
actually
you're
not.
scared of that word. I know
It's
it
literally
intimidates you, but-
not. Here's the thing. Let me ask you this, Jeremy. Can I ask you a question?
And I'm trying to
I know
type
that
it in.
word
My
intimidates
machine
you.
is goofing around. I'm typing it in, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. It's so funny when you guys go with this per capita. If crime as a whole is the problem, the number that matters the most is the number that is the biggest. Who is doing it at a certain rate is not as relevant as how much is actually happening. Yes.
Actually, it is.
Yeah, 'cause let me just say this. Per capita, AI says definitely Black Americans. Now, in regards to what Mike said, though, if blacks are only 13% of the population compared to whites being like 60% of the population, he's writing from a standpoint of blacks could be committing more crimes per capita, but there could be a lot more violent victims coming from white people because their numbers are much larger. That's like having a group of only 5 people and 3 of them are committing violent crimes. That means 60% of that group is committing violent crimes. If the other group is 300 strong, it could be only 10 of them doing shit. They still have 10 victims. This group only has 3, but per capita, this group is way more violent. So the per capita doesn't really tell the tale in regards to how many actual victims there are.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't.
total victims
It
are not
never
as
does.
relevant as total victims are not as relevant as per capita victims because we don't treat people the same depending on what group is more likely to do what. For instance, we treat men a little bit differently than we treat women because when it comes to violent crime, the majority of violent crimes committed by men, not women. There's a reason why you don't trust a male daycare worker, isn't there?
What?
Sexism?
You don't trust male daycare workers compared to female ones.
Maybe.
Do you?
I would tell you.
And again-
I would tell you right off the bat. Me personally, I got a Facebook page where I run news stories. I've been running stories about teachers abusing their students, female teachers, for about a year now. Almost every day, I'm able to produce a story of another female that slept with an underage student that was in her class. So you should trust a few more men. Because in terms of the education industry, there's a lot of women that be banging their students.
Not per capita, and that's the.
Man, I know. But see, here's the thing. That per capita makes you guys feel good. Since you brought up our community, I would like to talk about your community. It makes you feel good for your
All right,
narrative.
talk about Latinos. Let's go.
Hold on. Let me finish. At the end of the day, well, Latinos actually count towards the white demographic, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I know I'm right. Yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
I know.
All
I know
right,
I'm
so
right.
you know, okay,
I
let's
know.
bring it
So
back.
let me
Let's do
finish.
lights. Let's
So
do
let
lights.
me
Let's go.
finish. So let me finish.
Yeah, let's do it.
Tell me something else about the black community that you know other than these stats. And now I'm going to ask you the same thing to do for the white community. So let's go. You wanted to have this conversation, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Tell me something else about the black community that you know
Okay.
outside of the numbers.
Okay, outside. Okay, and it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be about crime, does it?
No, I want you to tell me what you know since you brought it up.
Okay, yeah, sure. So here's something that has nothing to do with crime or anything to do with that, but has to do a lot with the black community. The black community was very, very influential in the creation and propagation. There we go, of jazz music. They're one of the progenitors of it, and it's one of the only genres that came exclusively from the United States. It's one of the most American things we have. I mean, it would be a shame to not have it.
Who founded country western music, and where was it founded?
I don't actually know, to be honest.
That
I know
would be black people, and that would be here. Okay, so let's.
I don't see how that's a bad thing. I don't see that's
what about
rock.
rock?
I gotta move it on at the 5. I got 5 more minutes for y'all.
Yep, I'm not even going to take long. What about rock and roll, sir?
Rock and roll was a mix. There was some European influence.
That's incorrect, sir. That would be black people, and that would be us. Yeah, that would be us.
No,
that would be us.
Yes,
sir, that would be us.
I'm not saying you did have a big influence.
Everything you grew up on started with black people when it came to rock.
That's not even true.
Yes, it is. You can look at, go ahead and look it up, Jeremy. And listen, I'm going to say this real quick. So you went to music, but here's the thing. Give me some stats about the white community, crime-wise, please.
Okay, overall, the white community has lower or violent crime, but they do have higher.
No. That's not what I asked you. Give me a stat.
Okay, I might be incorrect about this, but I'm pretty sure the white community has higher white-collar crime, which is
Who leads in crimes against children?
blacks.
Huh?
Blacks.
You said blacks.
I know it's not even black.
I mean, just the Catholic Church alone probably makes that.
If we're talking, I know what you're
just
talking
the Catholic Church alone. Just the Catholic Church alone. You got to be kidding me. Who produces more child porn in this country?
If we're talking total, that's what you're talking about. You're talking total.
By demographics, sir. By demographics, who produces the most child porn in this country?
Per capita blacks.
No, that is, again, you're still wrong. You're still wrong. And this is the problem with these conversations because
more child abuse happens at more
I
child.
He said
child
porn. Not whooping your kid's ass, banging your kid is what he's talking
What
about.
do you think child porn is? It's abuse of a child.
Sir.
Get your ass whooped ain't child porn. Wait a minute, you trying to tell me if you don't do your homework and your mom beat the shit out of you, which is violent, you're gonna put that in the same category as porn?
What do you say? Okay, you're just.
What about who leads? No, it's not. No, you're just getting your ass dog walked here. What about bestiality? Who leads in that? By far.
I actually don't know that one.
Well, yes.
What am I supposed to do? Say that I know it when I don't?
Wasn't there an attorney right out of Houston 3 months ago that just got caught banging his dog on the cam that his wife set up?
I don't know about that.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I don't know to say no.
There's a lot that you don't know, Jeremy. So when you get on here and you want to use these per capita things, you're just wrong. And the fact that you're wrong means you don't have the right information, which means you'll never be able to fix something with bad data.
Oh, you are terrified of the word per capita, aren't you?
No, not at all. I just know
Yes,
that
you are.
I know you. Here's what I do know, Jeremy, and this goes for every topic we've ever had on this app. And Tim, you can't fix a problem with bad data. I don't give a fuck who you are. And so when you come up here and you come up here with bad data, the conversation is essentially over if you're not going to listen.
You don't have the data yourself, though. You're paying
I
attention.
absolutely have the data myself. That's
You
why I
have
told you.
terrible data.
Did I or did I not tell you Table 43 was arrests, not convictions, right before we started?
Yeah, but it didn't just prove anything.
Who leads the nation in exonerations, Jeremy?
Blacks.
Who leads in longer sentences for the same crime, Jeremy?
I actually don't know that, but I would assume.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
All right, folks, I got to wrap it up.
I'm not taking it. No. I don't feel guilty about saying I don't know something. You should say you don't know something if you don't know it.
To me, Jeremy, you come across as a new driver bragging about how easy you could drive on the highway, and you got out there and got ran over. I gotta move it on. You wanted that conversation. You asked for that ass whooping. I gotta move it on though.
There's no ass whooping that happened. I whooped his ass.
You got the shit smacked out of you. Thank you, Mike, for coming through. That was bad. He asked for that though, and Mike asked him several times, "Do you want to go down this route?" He said yes. Didn't work out well. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 35,000. And listen, we're going to get back to the actual topics of the show, but I do want to say what Jeremy did with the 1350, 13% of the population, 50% of the criminals, and all of the stats on blacks. I think what Mike did, which is why I'm saying gave him an ass whooping, is the fact is they know these stats on negative stuff about African Americans. But then when you say, well, give me some stats on whites, he really didn't have much. He couldn't give you, well, I think they lead in this. No, give me some numbers. You got numbers on the African American community. Mike asked him for stats on the white community. You don't have any because you've only been focusing on this one community, which to me is where it starts to look like it's biased and reeking of intolerance. Tap the screen. We'll get back on the actual comments, actual show rather though. We the Rebel says it's not in the interest of companies to fire profitable locations or employees. It is in their interest to cut stores losing money. True, but sometimes it ain't just even about cutting the store losing money. I used to work for Pitney Bowes as a copier and fax technician back in the 90s. And the branch office I worked for, the manager got replaced by a different manager that lived in the suburbs. He fired us all because he just wanted to open up a branch office closer to his house. It wasn't that we weren't profitable. He just got rid of us because he wanted to open up an office closer to his crib. So sometimes they fire people for other reasons that just benefit them. Man, Jeremy sucks today, man. What do you say? Trump didn't get him. Okay, I'm not going to be able to read that all the way evil, but he says Trump didn't get him has from his speech. I don't quite get the second half of that, but Jeremy was hostile today, but we don't mind hostility. He took a step into the racist pool. Great, quit complaining about overrepresentation in jails. The total number of black people in jail is really low. You think that's the case? I don't think that you said the total number of black people in jail is really low. It's the representation I think that we're talking about. Is that when you look at the percentage of the incarcerated population is disproportionately high for African Americans. There are, like you said, 13% of the population, 50% of the crime. Now, I think there's points to be made on both sides of the argument. In terms of some of the violent crimes, yeah, there are some violent crimes that are overrepresented by African Americans. A good example would be murder. Drug crimes and things like that. I think both sides use drugs at the same rate, but I personally, this is my opinion, I do believe the African American community murders each other at a greater rate than the white community does. But that's not the only violent crime, as Mike pointed out. Sex crimes, all that other stuff is in there as well. But I do believe when it comes to the murder rate, in this particularly at young black males, 15 to 25, in the gang culture and all of that. So that's got to be taken into consideration. But the fact is, we all know that there are factors that can lead to incarceration in greater numbers, such as being impoverished. If you got money, there's a good chance you can get convicted of the same crime as a poor person and get sentenced to less time. Maybe not even sentenced at all, depending on how good your attorney is. Poor people are going to fall victim to the system greater than wealthy people are. I mentioned before being a man versus being a woman, but also person of color versus a white person. The system is still more favorably to whites than it is people of color. It ain't 1950, but still, if you're going to go with statistical probability, you would rather be white going into the system than you would be black. You would rather be rich going into the system than you would be poor. And I would also add you would rather be a woman going into the system than you would a man. It's just the way our system is. It favors women, it favors the rich, and it is favorable to whites. Looking in the comments, just because you are incarcerated doesn't mean you are guilty. There are thousands of incarcerated awaiting trial. And that is true too. That is true too. In fact, a lot of people plead guilty to crimes they did not even commit. because they're being told, if you don't plead guilty to this and we go to trial and you lose, we're going to give you 3-4 times more time than we're offering you right now to take this guilty plea. And if you only got a public defender, you may be sitting next to somebody who is telling you, I know you didn't do this, but it's probably in your best interest. Just do this little year or two and get on with your life. I know it's not easy to do a year for something you didn't do, but we're talking about a year or two. If we fight this and lose, they're talking about 25 years. I'm certain that people that have pled guilty to crimes. In fact, I had a lawyer I play on my Facebook channel that he said that people plead guilty and confess to crimes they didn't do all the time because they're dealing with a system that's telling them, if you don't plead guilty, we're going to pretty much throw you away, lock you up and throw away the key. Anyway, getting on with the program. Hopefully some of you guys did see Trump yesterday. I want to ask you, what was his agenda? Let me go back to the box. American Democrats, you're a disgrace unless you publicly admit what's happening to your party. America will never be a socialist, Marxist, communist country. First of all, I don't see socialism the way you do, Paul, but the bigger issue is I don't see that many candidates running as socialists. The right is trying to paint thousands of Democrat politicians that are not talking about socialism as socialists. Meanwhile, the right is also saying that when you call Trump a fascist or a Marxist, it's what's leading to people pursuing political violence against the president. They want to suggest it's wrong to call Trump the exact same names they're calling Democrats. Outside of Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, AOC maybe Elizabeth Warren, how many Democrat politicians are actually saying out loud they want to be a socialist? And none of them are claiming to be communists. You're just labeling the party all of this shit that they're not claiming. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't want people to call your whole party racist or all these other names, if you don't believe in grouping everybody up, then don't do it yourself. Donald Trump is laying the foundation to commit election fraud, says Jay said. I've seen a lot of folks on TV today saying the same thing. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to G-Rod, tap the screen, get the likes of how can Trump guarantee a win for every election for the next 100 years? He is saying that, but he could say it's just hyperbole. That's just what he's saying. I mean, you can say that. I don't see anything wrong with him saying it. If he was any other politician that didn't have the history he has, I don't think it would be that harmful. But considering what he did in 2020 and all that stuff, that language coming from Trump, it has a different feeling than it would coming from Bush or Obama or Biden or somebody. Because people believe that Trump will try to do something corrupt to make that statement accurate. G-Rod is trying to bring you up, G. Rodman, but it doesn't appear to be doing so. We'll give it a chance to reset. I'll go to the next guest. Democrats aren't in charge to make any meaningful decisions. True. That is true. The country is being ran by Republicans at all angles, all levels. And instead of blaming the party that's given us this economy, giving us this war, most Republicans are blaming the Democrats. That's a great point, me too. The Democrats ain't running shit. You guys are complaining far more about the Democrats who are in control of nothing than you are of the guy who's actually running the country. Chopper. Get back to the chopper. Chopper 1. Say thank you to Alter Ego. Shanti, I didn't see that, but thank you, Alter Ego. He's worthy of it every night. I always appreciate his support. So if I missed something, thank you, Alter Ego. I'm having trouble bringing up guests. And we haven't been banned or anything. Let's try it again with Gangsta Grandma. Good evening.
Oh, so me and you, we got a date next month. Okay, I'm coming up in there for a whole week.
Ain't that what I'm supposed to say to the woman? Coming up in there for a whole week.
Be quiet. Be quiet. We got a date next month. I'm gonna be there for a week. So I got to get into my inbox. I got to give you my phone number. And I'll be up there for a whole week because I got to do my final adoption thing. And we're going to go live.
Will I be safe? Am I going to be safe?
I'm gonna put your ass to bed. I'll be being, you feel what I'm saying, Tim? Everybody's saying I'm fucking you. So damn, here we go. I'm just playing. No, we're not gonna do that thing like that. I'm just playing. I'm just saying, we're gonna go live.
How are you doing this evening? Say this shit live on air. Wow, you really coming in hard. Oh shit. Okay, I don't even know. Go ahead, talk to me. What brought you on?
You see
Wow.
that racist piece of shit, right?
Huh?
That racist piece of shit. Oh, Jeremy, right?
That was what Jeremy
I
said.
told you.
Yeah, what Jeremy said was undeniably
Let me tell you
racist.
something, Jeremy. You can be racist all you fucking want. They still don't like your fucking ass. They think you're fucking. They still think you're not of white. So don't ever get that twisted. You're never gonna be above us, sweetheart. Just because you don't like our black asses, sweetheart, they don't even like you.
Well, he might be able to. He might be able to pass for white, and that's been very beneficial to a lot of people throughout history. He might be able to pass for white.
But you know what though, Tim? You see, that's all your little homies. That's why I don't fuck with the maggots. They are racist as fucking hell.
Well, I didn't think Jeremy was racist, but what he said today was racist. So I'll leave it at that.
Hello? I told you. That's why I tell you, Tim. That's why I tell you, I don't like them for a reason. I go hard on them for a reason because they don't like us, Tim. They don't. They don't.
You know something? I'll just say this. A lot of this is the kind of shit that can happen.
They even try to violate me and I haven't even said nothing.
Yeah. A lot of this is the kind of shit that can... This is the kind of shit that can happen when you get your media from one particular source. Because I'll tell you, there is a lot of African Americans that are in big cities, wealthier suburbs of Houston or Atlanta, down south, that don't fit any of this 1350 narrative. They got a job. They're in professional careers. Many of them are making well into the six figures, but they keep focusing on only the downtrodden portion of our population.
Because they don't like us, and they always assume everything. But what he don't know is that the YT man is the most at all of it. That is 85% of the most violent crime there is. The 85%. What 83%? Go fucking figure. That is statistics, and they can look that up. I'm not going to be up here fighting and anything else. I told you, Tim. I told you, all your little maggot friends, they are who they are.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Come on, gangster.
Tim, one just showed you to your face. One just showed you to your face how racist they are. Because they're showing, they voted for him. It wasn't because of, eggs and meat and everything. No, it was because of racism. All the dog whistles they was doing, Project 2025, it wasn't about the YT man. It was about black and brown people. All the dog whistles. And guess what, Tim? I'm coming up there next month, and you know what? We're gonna go power team, and we're gonna be there together.
Well, I got somebody else that's got something for you. Handsome Conservative says, I miss you, gangster grandma. I got some white chocolate for you.
God,
no. Why you say it like that? You don't like white chocolate?
Oh, God, no. They ain't white, they're pink. And no, hell no. I don't fuck with uncooked meat. Oh, God, no.
Lord.
You know what, Tim? And I'm not trying to be fucked up or anything. I'm not trying to be mean. But nothing ever touched me that was white tea in my life. Yeah. I'm pure chocolate.
And real quick, in the comments, somebody told me compare the South Side to Chicago suburbs. Tim, read my comment. Well, the fact is that most Chicago suburbs have African Americans in it too. So you got really downtrodden, poor, a lot of violence happening on the South Side of Chicago. There's a lot of South Side of Chicago neighborhoods that have a lot of people making good money. I mean, it's the whole spectrum.
Tim, they just don't like us. They never did, Tim. And it's real, it is. United States never liked black and brown people. They didn't like the Mexicans in the 1930s or nothing like that. They never liked black and brown people. And the white tea people, the Latinos, that the white man calls us Latinos, they pass as white. They don't consider They think they are truly white. But unfortunately, Pookies and Ray Rays, they don't even consider you white, the white man. You're the only ones that consider yourselves white. You'll never be at his damn table.
Well, like I said, Jeremy might be able to pass for white, just like MAGA X, I think, could pass for white. So sometimes it's all about being able to pass. And in the comments, you created a little bit of disappointment. Handsome Conservative says, "I'm deeply offended, Gangsta Grandma. That's not what you said last night."
Oh, God. You tried so hard.
That was pretty good, though. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Honey, I will be a lesbian before I ever touch white meat. And I'm being real. I'll be straight lesbian. Never.
Really? You got that? You got that much resentment against white men that you'd rather be with women?
I can never touch white. I can never do it. I'm sorry. I do chocolate all day. Nothing. I had.
So wait a minute. You're on an island that has nothing but black women and white men on it, and you get the urge.
Chocolate women all day.
Oh, come on.
I'm bisexual,
really?
so chocolate women all day.
Oh my God.
I would never be with. I would never. And I'm not. That's just my thing. I cannot do it. It'll gross me the hell out.
It's just.
It will.
Now see, Blarg says I'm with you. We the Rebel says there was an Austrian. There was an Austrian artist that won how to. There was an Austrian artist that won how to get minority crime to zero. I don't quite get your comment, We the Rebel. Handsome Conservative says, well, if I can't have you, then I'm going to be a lesbian too.
Well, he can be whatever the hell he wants to be. Tim would get me before you any damn day. And that's just being real. Even I can't stand Tim, but that would be it. If I had between you and Tim, you and him, Tim all damn day. But you're my homie though.
Well, as the song says, if I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby. Listen, that's how it goes.
You feel what I'm saying? I'll be honest. No, you're white women. No, I'm good. No.
So did you see Trump last night addressing the nation?
Oh my God, Tim. Do you know how embarrassing we should be embarrassed for God's sake, of this United States? We should be fucking embarrassed. What he did, he tried so hard to say that, He tried so hard, though. He did. He tried to say that the 2000 was rigged and everything else. Because he's trying to fight everything. He's trying his best because November is coming. And we're going to wipe him up.
I'm being told the Democrats but Gangsta, I'm being told the Democrats are never going to win an election again. Are you sure we're going to be victorious in the midterms?
Okay. I thought every special election we have won. And then the 2 elections we lost we had points up in the reddest of the reddest in Georgia and shit. So we're not backing down. Yeah, Pookie and Ray Rays. We're coming for that white tea ass, and we're going to take it. And we're going to make this shit black and brown all day. How about that shit?
Don't talk like that. When you talk like that, that sounds like the LGBT talking about we're coming for your children. Don't throw race in there. That's what turns people off.
Oh, shut the hell up. I'm fucking with they ugly asses. Do you ever think we're going to ever get rid of the white tea people? Hell no. Unfortunately, they're still in this shit. We just got, you know what I mean? They just gotta produce.
Well, Gangsta,
nobody wants to produce with their asses.
Well,
I wouldn't.
Handsome Conservative says, I hate to disagree with Gangsta Grandma, but it's going to be a red wave. So I think he disagrees with you.
Yeah, red wave, man. Even Republicans are turning blue, are going blue.
Listen, I want you to listen to this. Listen to this shit. This is something Trump just apparently put on social media today in regards to the wildfires burning in Canada and the smoke coming to the United States. He says the United States is being unnecessarily invaded by filthy, polluted, and unhealthy air, the quality of which is dangerous and totally unacceptable. Canada has refused to engage, blaming Canada for the wildfire. Canada has refused to engage in basic forest management and debris removal, knowing that such refusal will lead to exactly this result. Cost of this pollution must be, I guess he says, must be of necessity be added to the tariffs Canada is currently paying. So he's going to increase the tariffs on Canada from wildfires.
Yeah, stupid. Look how stupid he sounds. And you better be careful too, because I heard that Chicago's really bad right now with
it is.
with
It
it.
is.
So yeah, so he's stupid.
How can you charge a country for wildfires? I mean, while they're going through that, they're hurting right now, and you're gonna add on the cost?
He's stupid. Anyways, all these tariffs he's doing is illegal. That's why I can't wait till November when the Democrats get, and they're gonna shut all this shit down. And I hope they just do the.
But wait, hold on though. Let me ask you this. Let's say the Democrats do have a blue wave, despite what handsome conservative is saying. Let's say the Democrats do win. If the Democrats win in November, gangster, they still have to wait till January to be sworn in. What happens between November and January if the Democrats win?
I don't know. We're gonna all hell gonna break loose. Hell yeah, it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna, like, heads gonna be rumbling. You feel what I'm saying? The Republican Party ain't the Republican Party no more. You know what I mean? I never disrespected the president as much as I disrespected this man. And I don't like him. And I wish he would go to the other side.
Because what I'm thinking, let's say in Georgia, where they got a Republican governor, let's say, because they got Democrat senators, let's say, because the governor, just like we've seen in South Carolina, the governor gets to replace a senator if something happens to that senator. Is it possible that if a Democrat wins, something may happen to that senator so that the governor can replace them with another Republican?
I don't know. We're going to find out, won't we? You know what, though, Tim? You know what the end of the day is? All this election and shit was all about racism. At the end of the day, let's keep it real. All this is about hate and racism. This is the most expensive damn part of racism you ever did see. They didn't like none of us. They want us out of this damn country. Guess what? No one's going nowhere. What they're doing to the undocumented is sad. And it's disgusting. They're unaliving people for what? For the color of the skin. A 3-year-old just seen her father get unalived in the back seat. They shot his head off. For what? For what? And he wasn't even the right person. This is what they voted for. This is what they voted for. And then you get mad at me because I have no empathy, I have no compassion, I have nothing. I would spit on them. I would never save them. If they was drowning, I had my ally and had them, I'll pick my ally. And I'll put them on, I'll throw gasoline on them.
Jesus.
I would never.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue that ICE is not being a bit strict. And in the comments real quick, somebody says, Joe says, hey, Tim, you need to tell your actors that come on to do a little bit better job because some of us are picking up. Well, how about this, Joe? You come up. Substack, Instagram, TikTok, or Clapper. If I see you, I'll put you on, and you can be the next actor. We don't censor, we don't limit. I'll let you come up, and you can state your case. Joe, thank you for your input. I don't know.
I'm not an actor. But I'll be up there in Chicago, though, next month to sign my adoption papers. We're going to be there for a whole week.
Who are you adopting? Who are you adopting?
My four babies, my god babies. Remember, I told you, and I finally got all the.
Why didn't he come all the way to Chicago?
Because it was in Chicago when my friend died from cancer. She was in Chicago, and the father's in Chicago, so they're signing the rights and stuff. So I'm adopting them next month. So me and Timmy, we're gonna put, we're gonna be.
That's a very, you got a friend that passed away due to an illness, and you're adopting the children. That's very noble. That's kind of like you kind of got a lot in common with Lindsey Graham. He did the same thing.
Don't put me in Lindsey Graham.
Well, that's what he did with his sister. You kind of the Lindsey Graham act.
And you know what? How they say this? Let me tell you something. How they say I'm a racist and everything else. Well, my best friend, my best friend, I've known since she was 8 years old. Right? She was a beautiful black woman. She died of breast cancer. Right? She married a white man. She has biracial babies. When she got stage 4, she asked me, she asked me if I would take her babies in. I told her, hell yeah, I'll take her babies. I didn't look at the babies being white and black. I looked at them as babies. They're my god babies. You feel what I'm saying? So, see, I'm not racist like everybody says. I do not like maggots. And I disrespect the asses. And
So what do you? What I mean? I got a lot of these hats. So when I show up in Chicago, I can't give a hat to your grandbabies.
No.
They might look cute. A little onesie in the MAGA hat.
My babies are blue. They blue. They blue. All my kids are blue.
They got the black Trump hats as well with the yellow.
No, my little nigglins, my little nigglins, they're all blue.
Well,
They rock blue.
well, I don't have blue, but how about a Trump was right hat? This would match blue.
No, I don't fuck with nothing Trump. So me and Tim is gonna go live. You're gonna finally see my sexy fine ass. Okay, on live.
Okay, you're running my show for me. Hang on, let me think about that one.
We are going to go live together. We may not be at your house because we just met. You know what I mean? I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. But if
We can go to the Holiday Inn.
I'm not going. That's too cheap. I'm gonna be going.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going down. I'm gonna be downtown. I gotta book me a room. So we could go to the room and do the damn thing. Not do the damn.
No, you sounded good. You were doing it. Okay, keep on.
Do the taping. Go live. Not do the damn thing. I didn't mean it like that. My bad. I didn't mean it like that, Timmy.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we're gonna go live. In the room or somewhere. Go out to eat, do something, go live. We're gonna do the damn thing. And watch. They're gonna say, oh my God, she really isn't white. Well, no shit, bitch. You know what I mean?
Well, my audience believes that you're a caricature of some sort. They think you're white.
Well, when you see my hair and you see me, you want to see that I'm not white. And I'm not bringing my babies. I'm just going to go by myself.
That's what you should do. All right, sounds good.
Yeah, because I don't know about the smoke and shit. So, yeah. But I'll be down there,
Well,
Tim.
all right. Well, as Hexef got me getting my testosterone up.
If we was going to do the damn thing, the fucking, you'll be put to bed, so you won't even be coming on live. See, that's what they always accuse me of doing, saying that we're fucking. If I was fucking this man, he wouldn't be live because I'd be putting his ass to bed.
Okay, I gotta let you go for time. Gangster grandma. Gangster. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. Tap the screen, folks. Help me out. Let me get over this blushing. Let the blood rush away from my cheeks. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 50,000, if you will, in the comments. Handsome Conservative says, well, if that's the case and you're telling the truth, Gangster grandma, I'll be your baby. I'm your baby tonight, says Handsome Conservative. I mean, let's be real. You think they would let Obama take them over? It's a scam, and everybody knows it's not rocket science. What are you referring to there, Mike? I didn't see what you're referring to. You're a fool if you think she wins. Gap Tooth couldn't win. You think apple bottom jeans gonna win? Okay, you guys are going crazy with that. Tim, I think you might be real under something, and she ain't got no teeth, so you know that's a win. God. Tap the screen, folks. Give me an up to 50,000. Help your boy with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goals. A lot of you folks have. Unusual tonight, but so I do appreciate the support some of you folks have been showing. Blue One Banks and Alter Ego, some of you folks, thank you very much. It is Friday, indeed. We're talking Friday night politics, so the show can go in any direction. You guys know what we do. Handsome Conservative needs to go date at Bingo Hall, says Debo. I hope y'all wear each other out, says Shanti. I don't get worn out. Doesn't happen. I don't get worn out. Like a diamond. Just can't wear it out. Tim, you're one of the only liberal dudes I listen to. Fair enough, and I appreciate you being here. I can't see the name because the writing is so damn small. I think this says Bradenton. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tap the screen. And what did I say? I can't read it, but thank you. I like those. That's good shit. All right, let me go back to the box. That's real good shit. Tap the screen. Going to the box, indeed, will make it happen with Twisted. Good evening, Twisted. Welcome to the program. Go get you a blue pill, Tim. Really? Somebody tell me to get a blue pill. Twisted, good evening. Twisted, are you there?
Yeah, hey.
Okay. There we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. So what brings you on this Friday?
Man, Jeremy's sucking nuts, man. Jeremy sucks.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Sucking nuts.
Yeah, Jeremy came pretty hard today. Like I said, it sounded racist to me. He went straight after the African American community on crime and things like that, which is not even part of the conversation. So he wouldn't have literally dug that up to have a conversation on it. We brought Mike on. Mike is kind of like our cleaner, and he came in and made the floor look. Yeah, Mike made the floor look beautiful by turning them upside down.
Knock him out the box.
Yeah.
Knock him out the box, L.
Yeah, Mike is. Listen, if I was ever going to grow and have a larger show, he would be like my Ed McMahon or something, because a lot of things I gotta ask him. Yeah, Mike is amazing. Now a lot of folks don't like Mike on a lot of my MAGA side, because Mike does talk about the racial shit that really pisses him off. But Mike.
But the thing is, though, here's the thing, though. See, when they do that, they think that it is okay for them to say African Americans are always going to be bad. No, that is not the case. You have to look at the facts, though. White people can be wrong and messed up too.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. It's not going to go the way that he thinks that it is, and that's why he got swamped. That's why he got his ass kicked, and Mike put his foot up in his ass.
Yeah, Mike did a good job, did an amazing job using them with pine saw cleaner to wipe the floor. I will say this though, in regards to a lot of African American crime and people saying it's in their culture and things like that. Most of America's history, black neighborhoods were not as violent as some of the inner city neighborhoods are now. Even when we were coming up in the 70s and 80s, before the crack epidemic, black neighborhoods were nothing like what they are now. You didn't have all the murders and all of this stuff. So it ain't like this is something in black culture, because it ain't always been that way.
Right. And it's, it is the same thing. Like, you and me are from, we are from the Chicago of the area. It was never like that, as you're saying though. And like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of factors that changed. I mean, first of all, the welfare system requiring the father not be in the home. If a mom needed help or if a family needed assistance, the dad could not be in the home. So the government, in order to help out black families, required the home to break up. So the government had a lot to do with breaking up the nuclear family as well. Because we always talk about, black dads are not in the home and things like that. We don't bring that up, the fact that the government used to sanction that. And that's kind of when the violence or the deterioration of the black community kind of began in that era. So there are other factors, the over-policing, the stricter laws that came along in the Reagan era. All of that stuff plays a part in this. It ain't just that black people decided to be violent and dangerous all on their own. There's a lot of factors that do not get taken into consideration. Right. And what they really don't understand is that we had to fight. We had to go through hell just to try to get what we wanted or what we had to do to survive. And that's the thing that most people don't want to realize or understand. And it's like, if you don't quite understand that, then you don't understand what it is like to be a black African American, making it from, it is from day to day though.
Well, and some would say that struggle continues, but there's many on the other side that says there's no privilege for whites, it's an equal system. But let's get into the actual topics of the show. Now, did you see Trump's speech last night?
Yeah, it was a bunch of hogwash, man. He was talking like Porky the Pig,
Well, and see, that's what we've been asking is there anybody that had one opinion of President Trump, and after watching that speech where he was supposed to release something really big and really important is how he framed it, is there anybody that watched Trump last night and it changed their hearts and minds? I think the folks who believe what Trump is saying about the 2020 contest, I think the folks who believe him still believe him today, believed him before his speech last night, and they're going to believe him until eternity. The folks who think that he's making a lot of that stuff up, I don't think he changed any of their hearts and minds last night.
Yeah, he is just making up shit, and he's just grasping for straws though. And it's like, why are you sitting there talking about the Chinese and all this stuff? It's the same thing that he said a couple years back ago. COVID started because of the Chinese stuff and all this other stuff. Man, nobody doesn't want to hear that shit, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, because
this thing that I really wanted to hear from Trump, I wanted to hear him say, "Look, I wear diapers. Yes, I have."
But you stop that, man. The president don't wear diapers. Quit that.
I have a piss bag.
He doesn't have
my coat. Yes, I wanted to hear him say that though.
The president does not have a catheter nor wears diapers. What are you talking about?
He wears diapers. If you look at the way that he sits down, you can see.
He just got wait. He just has a badunkadunk. The president doesn't have diapers.
No.
Thank you, JPT
The president
Farms.
does not have a fat ass. The president is stupid, man.
No.
Stupid.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you flat out, there is no way in hell I will ever think President Trump is stupid or anybody that rises to that level. Because folks say the same thing about Kamala Harris. She's stupid. Look, what they've done, 99.9999999% of Americans couldn't do. To rise to that level, I don't think you can be at Trump or Kamala Harris's level and be stupid. You can't get that far in life and be stupid. He's not stupid. He may not be using all of his education for good. You may have that argument, but I don't think Trump is stupid at all.
Tim, tell me this. Who won that presidential debate when it was him and Kamala Harris, though? Tell me who won that presidential of that debate. Who do you think you won?
Kamala Harris won. Well, first of all, Kamala Harris won hands down for the simple fact that a lot of things that Trump says is just not true, and people know, like the cats and dogs thing. I mean, that was laughable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that same thing that he wants to sit there and bullshit and talk about people and say, well, they did this and we are,
But it's understandable, but Twisted, it's understandable because I understand why Trump is doing it totally because it works. I mean, even with the cats and dogs, we were on live when the debate happened, and then we were on the next day, and I cannot tell you how many of my MAGA viewers were trying to present me evidence that people were really eating cats and dogs. They instantly believed him. When he said people in Springfield are eating cats and dogs, none of my MAGA viewers said, I don't believe that. They instantly believed it.
You know what, though? Trump reminds me of Jonah Jameson. He is so hooked.
Not the porn star, right? Jonah Jameson, you're not talking about the porn star, are you?
No. I am talking about, I'm not sure if you read, it's the comic books, but he is the news, he's the news reporter, though, like for Spider-Man. His name is...
Never heard of
Jonah
him. Never heard of him.
Jameson.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Okay, he is just like him, but with or like kind of like with the hair and with the with the beard. He is so gun ho on hating Spider-Man. It's the same thing though. Trump cannot stop talking about Biden this, Biden that, Biden over here, Biden did this. Like, Trump needs to wake up and actually realize this is your economy. Your economy sucks ass.
Well, but in defense of Trump, he doesn't need to wake up because MAGA's buying it. So I understand why he keeps blaming.
Yeah,
he can keep blaming stuff on. He can keep blaming stuff on Obama and Biden until eternity. MAGA's buying that stuff. So why not do it? It's working.
I don't know, man. I yesterday when you made that whole thing, I was like, dude, when people were, or I think you had MAGA reaction somebody else up though, but like I was like, man, what are these MAGA rats talking about, man? Like, what is going on?
Well, let me read a comment real quick because I thought this was interesting. In the comments, it does say not seen say says, does anyone think there is 0% voter fraud? I think we could all reasonably agree it is not zero. When the elections are so close, it doesn't take very much fraud to sway an election. 100% agree with you. But even still, that doesn't explain away why Trump is alleging that there is fraud, this widespread fraud going on and things like that. I agree there's not 0%. So if the election, and in fact, if the election is close enough in many jurisdictions, they automatically do a recount. If it's only, separated by a certain amount, in many jurisdictions, they either automatically do a recount or they have a runoff. So they do have stuff in place for close elections. But that has nothing to do with what Trump is saying. And by the way, Trump lost by like 7 million votes, I think, to Biden. So it wasn't close like that. But I do. Go ahead.
And you know who is the biggest fraudster there is? Take a wild guess.
The biggest what?
I said, do you know who is the biggest fraudster there is?
In my opinion, the president at this point.
Yeah. This man has 34 or 78 felonies.
34.
He's a crooked
34.
politician. He's probably sleeping with one of his aides, though. And did you also hear that, that Melania is stepping out, though, like on him now?
She's doing what? And G. Rodman, I see you. What is Melania doing?
She is stepping out on him.
Based on what data? Where have you heard? You say Melania Trump she's stepping out on President Trump, but he's like breaking up with him?
Yeah, man.
I ain't heard no shit like that. Why would she leave Trump?
Yeah.
That ain't
She's
even
sleeping
safe.
with somebody else.
That's bullshit. That wouldn't even be safe right now.
No. She is trying to get smashed by somebody else. She's trying to get some stomach pumping going. Okay.
Now listen, first of all, you're full of shit, but I will say this. That's not to say she doesn't want that, because she is still at an age where she may have a sex life, and I'm sure Trump is not providing in that area. But as long as Trump has the power he has right now, and he is as vengeful as he is right now, you're gonna have to curtail your sexual desires. I mean, it is what if Melania Trump, if she steps out on Trump would have her damn near working as a waitress somewhere. I mean, because she couldn't even take him to court for alimony and shit, and depend on the courts to give her a good say. I mean, you're gonna have to just bow down for now.
I don't think so. I think Melania can whip Trump in the bedroom anytime. I think she got that whip, and she can get that. Look, she can get that motherfucker down quick. All right.
Well, that is our first lady. I sound like you got some minutes. I'll go ahead and move it on.
No.
Twisted, but look, at the end of the day, I don't think Melania Trump is going to step out on President Trump. Not while he's president. Now, once he's out of office, she might be free to do whatever, but certainly not while he's president. That wouldn't be safe.
I don't know, but it is something though. I guess before I leave, let me send a shout out to the Iron Mike Tyson. Let me send a shout out to King Finn, aka King Shark, and to Gangsta Grandma. We love you.
Get up for her. I appreciate it. Twisted, thanks for coming on. Appreciate the support always. Always a pleasure. Tap the screen. Get us on up over. Wow, we're kind of low on the tap side. No love at all. We should be about 60 G's, but get us on up to 60 G's, if you will. You leave my gangster grandma alone. She is mine, says Handsome Conservative. Wow. Everyone thinks the president is the problem. The problem is the federal government. I think we could also all reasonably agree Biden was not mentally wounded at the end of his presidency. I don't think we can. I'm not sure Trump is mentally there either, though. I can agree with you on Biden, but I'm not sure I look at Trump and say this is a totally sane, coherent guy. So just keep that in mind. But in regards to saying that it's not the president, the problem is the federal government. He's kind of the boss of the federal government. Everybody running the federal government can be fired by him. Remember, he promised to surround himself with the best and brightest, his administration. If the federal government is failing, that falls on him. Because if the federal government is succeeding, guess who's going to take credit for it? He is. So I don't know why with President Trump, we've had this mindset that he can be the president of the country, but anything that goes wrong, we can separate it from him and blame it on these lower entities that are often appointed by him, such as the IRS leaked his taxes when he was in control of the country, and that being the IRS. You hear him talking about what happened in 2020. He was in charge of the country during all that election chaos. So he is trying to blame folks that he was in control of. That doesn't make sense to me, because if all of this shit had happened under Biden or under Obama, we would be blaming the president. If your DOJ does something wrong, that's your DOJ as the president. I don't know. When it comes with Trump, we're trying to give Trump credit for the good and give him some kind of exoneration when things go wrong. That ain't how. Whatever happened to the phrase, the buck stops here. Accountability goes up to the top with leadership. And we're always trying to give an excuse for why Trump is not responsible for stuff that happened in his own government. You're blaming the federal government, not the president, who is actually the head of the federal government. And that makes sense to you. That just makes no sense at all to me. Unelected federal employees, the appoint, who did Trump put, who was it, Kash Patel? Who was the head of the FBI? If you got any entity of the federal government that's not doing their job, that particular department is ran by somebody that President Trump appointed. So your appointees are not doing their jobs. If it's the Department of Education, if it's the EPA, whatever, IRS, whatever federal departments you want to talk about, they're all being ran by people that Trump appointed. So you appointed somebody that has employees that are working for them that are not doing their job. So then that means you need to get rid of the person you appointed. It's as simple as that. If that's not happening, then a good example, Tulsi Gabbard being over the intelligence department. Tulsi Gabbard said Iran was not developing a nuclear weapon. Testified they were not developing a nuclear weapon. Trump said she don't know what she's talking about. And we went to war with Iran. He didn't fire Tulsi Gabbard, though. So the point is, if Iran is developing a nuclear weapon, as Trump says, and they were about to use it on us, that's what Trump said. They were only weeks away from getting a nuclear weapon, and they would have used it on us by now. That is what Trump said. So you're going to tell me that the person who is responsible for letting us know that somebody is only weeks away from using a nuclear weapon on us. That person got that wrong and said they weren't developing a bomb at all, and you didn't fire them, then that's incompetence on Trump. That means you kept somebody employed that didn't know what they were talking about and could have led to us being killed if you believe what Trump said. They were only weeks away from getting a bomb and they were going to use it on us. Well, then your intelligence head that said they had no bomb at all, you did fire her, right? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So you're trying to excuse incompetence and blame it on lower level people. No, Trump should be held accountable for not terminating Tulsi Gabbard if what he's claiming to say is true. It's as simple as that. Problem is, Tulsi Gabbard knew what she was talking about. Yes, she did know what she was talking about. But the point I'm making is we got to take Trump at his word. If we're taking Trump at his word that they were about to get a bomb and use it on us, then the woman that gave you bad intelligence, you got rid of her, right? No, he didn't. And that needs to be explained. Then why didn't you get rid of her? Why didn't you leave her in there? For all we know, she could have been giving you more bad intelligence. It is what it is. In the comments, and I see that explanation, somebody said, loser. You're a loser. Yeah, because you don't want to hold your president accountable. It's a lot easier to refer to the host as a loser when he's making sense about your shitty ass president not doing his job. If you appoint somebody and you hire them and give them a job and they don't do that job properly and you keep them in that job, then you need to lose yours. It's as simple as that. You can't make that shit make sense. I don't take Trump for nothing but a joke, says Ronald. Fair enough. All right, boom, boom, the entire school full of little girls over another lie. Speaking of which, and I do want to get back into the show, tap the screen, help people out with the head mustache, tick-tock cap goes. I wanted to play a clip that I thought was pretty interesting, and this is in relation to this whole Iran debacle that I thought is worthy of discussing. Now, this is Chris Cuomo, formerly of CNN.
President Trump says we'll probably never know why those school kids got killed in Iran. And you know what? He's right. He's telling you the truth. I said he was lying. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. He's telling you the truth. Because, did you see this? He's not letting them look for the answer. That's why you'll never know. And they're not going through the ordinary investigative channels. Why? Because they already know the answer. We did it. Did we do it on purpose? Yes-ish. Did we want to kill school kids? I don't think so. I haven't seen any proof of that. But it was an intentional targeting, and it was in error. So we did it. Everybody knows we did it. Israel knows we did it and said nothing because they were being a good ally. But we did it. We did it for bad reason. I don't think it was intentional to hit kids. I haven't seen any proof of that. But the president's not lying. You'll probably never get to the answer because he's not letting it be investigated. MAGA, why is this okay? Why is this okay? Is Senator Johnson really right? You only care when it's the other side because this is a team sport? You're on my team. I'm on your team. That's the only team that matters. We're Americans, right? We care about right and wrong, not right and wrong.
And I don't go into that opinion piece any further, but I think this is kind of what we expected. Is that I think everybody knows that Iran did not blow up their own school full of kids, but that is what Trump tried to pass off and tell folks. You may remember him being on, this is a few months ago, he was on Air Force One when he said it.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
Based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hickson? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians.
Now, you hear him saying, you hear Trump saying, based on what he's seen at the time, Iran bombed their own school full of, their own school full of girls. And then they asked Pete Hegseth, is that true? Because the reporter that's asking these questions know that Trump is lying. You wouldn't ask the president for something, get the answer from the president, and then ask the guy behind him who was the lower level, is that true? So obviously the reporter kind of made it clear, we don't believe you. And we're going to try to put Pete Hegseth on the hook for telling the same lie. Shout out to Pete Hegseth for not following up. Pete Hegseth was like, no, we investigating this shit. So, and keep in mind, if they did do this, and if Trump did see evidence that Iran bombed their own school, Pete Hegseth would have saw the same shit. There's a good chance that Pete Hegseth would have saw it first and then showed the evidence to President Trump. So the fact that Trump is claiming he saw evidence to show that Iran bombed their own school and Hegseth can't even back it up leads to the obvious question, then where did Trump see it? So Trump is lying right here. And as I stated, the fact that the cameraman or the reporter, after asking Trump, decides to go down to the Secretary of War and ask the same question makes it clear the reporter was trying to put Hegseth on the hook for telling the same lie. But it is what it is. And you hear now, 4 months later, you hear Cuomo saying that they don't pretty much block the investigation, so we'll never get down to the nitty-gritty and find out what's going on. And that's kind of been the method of operation for Trump. Same thing would happen with ICE in some of the incidents they've been involved in, like with Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good. They blocked the investigations on that stuff as well. So that the city government, Minneapolis police, the city of Minneapolis had no involvement in the investigation into that. So it's you want to call it a cover-up, whatever you want to call it, but they're taking control of investigations so that they can control the narrative. Anyway, because normally you should have people from, look, if something like this happened, you can involve people from multiple industries or multiple outlets. You don't have to do it all by yourself unless you don't want people to know. Certainly when it came to ICE, there's no reason to block out the Minneapolis police from being involved in the investigation. Why would you block them out? So it's pretty clear what he's doing. But anyway, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 65,000. In the comments, the problem is the illusion of choice. Right, left, it doesn't matter. We have a shadow government running the show. Unelected federal employees, there's 2.7 million federal employees. I'm told you're going to drain the swamp. I'm told you're going to get rid of the deep state. Now President Trump is in there and we're blaming the swamp and the deep state for doing something. We're halfway through his term almost. And it sounds like it's just as swampy and dirty as it was when he came down the Golden Escalator in 2015, which makes it clear he did not meet that campaign promise. Trump, we're going to be great again. It's going to be the Gilded Age and all of this shit. Now when he starts failing, the only defense is, well, it didn't happen under Biden either. It didn't happen under Obama. You promised some shit you didn't deliver. And now you're trying to blame other people to somehow save face. You promised this stuff wouldn't be happening. Now you want to blame low-level federal, unelected federal employees? That does not fly. In the comments, tap the screen. I'll go to the box. We'll make it happen again with Jay Fire. Good evening, Jay. MAGA's real daddies are held accountable. Hold your daddy Trump accountable. That ain't gonna happen. They don't want to hold him accountable. They want to hold the people under him accountable, which to me makes no sense. Any federal employee that fucks up is a bad reflection on the federal government. And Trump is in control of the federal government. Because any federal employee that goes above and beyond their duty and does a great job, Trump is going to take credit for that. Jay, good evening. Okay, Jay came and went. And like I said, this is what we're dealing with, is that we want to give Trump credit for the good and blame other people for the bad. That's just not how it works. In the comments, before we move on, who's trying to take Trump's life now? Not aware of anybody. They all make promises they don't keep. I haven't known one that did. But that's the point I'm trying to make, Joseph, is that when Trump came along making these promises, draining the swamp and exposing the deep state and all of this, I didn't hear any MAGA say, well, he's just lying like all the rest of them are. No, you guys actually believe that shit. You believe that shit. Now that when he is failing at delivering, You're making up excuses for why. Well, you know, they all kind of lie. There's no way in hell. Look, I was at a couple rallies. There's no way in hell any of them folks, when I'm at the rallies, the 2 rallies I went to, the folks were standing up and applauding what Trump said. They weren't looking at him and thinking, well, you know, this motherfucker just lying just like Obama did. No, they actually believed him. Now that he didn't come through, well, let's blame Obama and say Obama did the same shit. Or Biden did this. This guy was supposed to be better than past presidents. Not get in there and do the same shit and then try to use that as an excuse. By definition, that's a failure. You're admitting that he failed. You got to compare him to leaders that you've been bashing for the last 10 years. If you thought Biden sucked, and most of my beloved MAGA absolutely do, then why would you want to compare Trump to anything of Biden? Anything Trump does, if you say Biden did it too, then that's a poor reflection on Trump because you've been talking about how bad Biden was over the years. You shouldn't compare anything Trump did to Biden or Obama, considering how bad you talked about Obama as well. If you're comparing him to the people you said would, compare him to Reagan. Notice you don't hear many MAGA comparing Trump to Reagan, the guy you thought was the best president the Republicans had in your lifetime before Trump. You almost never hear MAGA comparing Trump to Reagan. You're comparing them to dudes you thought sucked over and over again. Then if they sucked and you're comparing him to them, what does that say about him? Compare him to the good guys. I don't hear that. I don't hear that at all. In the comments, Joe Biden stopped COVID-19 and left office with true. I blame him for a lot. No more Bushes, Kennedys, Clintons, Obamas, or Trumps. That's all that remains to be seen. We'll go back to the box. Trump's sister worked with Reagan and got promoted under him. Yeah, to me, like I said, if you're comparing anything Trump does to Obama or Biden, after talking so awful about Obama and Biden for the last 10 years, then you're admitting that in that area, Trump is a failure. You shouldn't be comparing him to him on anything. Going back to the box, we'll make it happen with Tamar, New Jersey Best. Good evening, Tamar, because they know they can't defend him against the better Republican leaders. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Tamar, good evening.
Timmy Tim Tim, what it do?
Just hanging around like Al Sharpton at a Klan meeting as usual. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, your boy Jeremy sound like he his cop hoe might have got taken by a brother or something. The ones that he paid for. I thought he was
his top hole. Is that what they calling it now?
You know, I'm trying to be
I get it.
friendly or whatever.
That's
so whatever he's paying for. Whatever he's paying for, because that's the only way he's getting it.
Look, I've talked to Jeremy.
My brother must have took it.
I've talked to Jeremy a lot, and that's the first time I've ever heard him say something that was that fucking racist. And I've been defending him against. I've been defending him against other African American viewers that've been calling him racist the whole time. But when he said that, I'm like, there's no defense for that. I mean, he just came out attacking black people.
Yeah, he was bugging today. And he was angry.
Yeah.
He was angry, Mike.
Well, he really don't like Mamdani. He really doesn't like Mamdani.
He doesn't live in New York. I live in the tri-state area, and I live right next to New York. I live in Jersey City, so I'm literally like 10 minutes away from New York, like depending on traffic.
What do you think of Mamdani?
I think he's all right. I don't hear that many people complain about him. Like I said, I do Uber, and I like part time, and like on the weekends and stuff. And I drop people off, and I go to New York all the time. And even the people like that I drop off like in the nice sections they seem to like him. I haven't heard anybody talk bad.
Yeah, I haven't. I think Mamdani is a really good mayor for the working man. But if you're making a killing and if you're making a lot of money and you want to keep all your money, you don't want to be forced to pay higher taxes to help out the downtrodden, you don't want to be forced to share your money, then Mamdani's not your guy. Socialism is not your guy. But somebody like Jeremy, who admits he's a dishwasher, I never could understand how people who are in the bottom bracket.
Dishwasher, he's sitting up there talking about you study economics, Tim, or whatever. Like, dude, if you're a fucking dishwasher, have you studied economics?
Well,
what?
What I never could understand is having so many people who are one step from the poorhouse defending the ultra wealthy. You got folks who are barely making enough to put a roof over their head that is against the minimum wage increase, but talking about nobody should stop Elon Musk from making $1 trillion. Like, that makes no sense to me. You're going against the people who actually would be the first to help you out in defense of the people that don't give a fuck about you. It makes no sense.
What? It's funny you said that, Tim, because remember last week when you did a live and it ended, I ended up stumbling upon a MAGA live that had their token black folk on it, and I had made a comment about Trump. I made a comment about Biden and Trump, saying that about age limits, saying that I think both of these presidents is a perfect example of why we need an age limit on the presidency.
Yeah. Bill, what is the guy who used to do what is the guy who does the Daily Show? What is that guy's name with the gray hair? He does the Daily Show. He's an older man. Not the black guy from South Africa. He's the main guy. He actually did a skit on why we need to. Jon Stewart. Yeah, Jon Stewart is the guy. He has a video he just did this past week about how many old politicians we've gotten in the need for having an age restriction. It's a really, really good video. It's the last one he did. It's a really good video. And yeah, he's talking about like we don't need a bunch of 80-year-olds, and then he goes down the list of how many of them are having, medical issues and shit, and getting speeches where you can barely understand them and all of that. I agree that we probably need to limit presidents and all of that shit, 70, maybe 70, 75 max, or give them some serious cognitive tests.
Yeah, I think 75 is fair, because it sucks for somebody like Bernie, because he is sharp.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make exceptions. I don't know. But I think you need an age limit, because why not go and enjoy the rest of your life, or whatever's left of it? Because these people, they're arguing, Trump, he's making millions and this, he's making billions and this and that. I'm like, yeah, he's making billions. I said, what are you making? And then
to be honest with you, Trump is only doing a better job at what they were going to do too. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, if it wasn't for the dangers of Trump and MAGA, Nancy Pelosi was probably intending to die in office, just like Feinstein. Who else? I'm trying to think of who else. There's a couple senators, like the senator from Iowa was like 90-some years old. There's a bunch of them out there that are way too. Bernie Sanders clearly intends to die in office. A lot of them, because they're making money and enjoying the power. Bernie Sanders does not sound like he's trying to leave at all. He intends to die in that office.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, it sucks because depending on the governor, they can be replaced. You could be replaced by somebody else instead of you stepping out and letting it be fair and having it done correctly.
At that point, all they're doing,
kind of selfish.
Yeah, it is selfish. They're just making. It's kind of like what Trump is doing too, but they're just making generational wealth for their families. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is in her mid-80s. There's no reason you need to still be in Congress. You got plenty of money with a little bit of time left. Go out there and enjoy that. You don't need to be showing up in Congress and getting in screaming matches and shit. Leave that to the younger folks who are actually going to be affected by this shit. So yeah. Term limits and age limits, they need it.
They can actually understand more what the freaking people, your constituents is actually about. It's more younger people than older people but the problem is the older crowd is more reliable to show up and vote. So, listen, if you put younger people in there, the younger folks are not going to relate to the needs and desires of the older crowd as much as an older politician will. And if the older people get pissed off that there's no 70-year-olds in there that are like me, they show up reliably and vote. The folks that are under 40 do not vote reliably. they need to sit back and understand how times have changed, and it's the age of the younger person, and it is what it is.
All you got to do is get the older. If the younger crowd show up and vote at the same percentage rate of the older crowd, then you would get all of that stuff. But the problem is the younger, like for instance, the African American community bitches about how politicians do not look out for us. We don't vote in terms of the percentage of us that vote. The African American community is terrible when it comes to showing up to the polls. A lot of the disenfranchisement that we complain about would be greatly reduced if we voted in high numbers. We don't vote.
Yeah.
Especially the younger ones, especially the 18 to 35-year-old African Americans. A lot of them don't vote.
Hey, I was in that live that you was in.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah, the MAGA live I was in yesterday.
Yeah, no, not yesterday. It was a couple of days ago. Was it? Was it? No, it wasn't. Was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday. Maybe it was. I know what you're talking about though.
Oh man, those people. That's how it is for me when I go into these lives, like the one I got into that I was telling you about last week. That when your live dropped, I just accidentally dropped into it. I hate to call them coons, but the black people on there, they were terrible. This dude, he was going crazy on the guy Coat Slayer. Like all they kept on doing was muting him.
But I'll tell you, they muted me about 2010. But I'll tell you something. If there's one area of voter, one particular Trump voter that does not seem to be swayed by Trump at all, whether we're talking the economy, whether we're talking the Iran war, Black MAGA are still quite happy and supportive of. I haven't talked to any Black MAGA at all that have been swayed from President Trump. I've talked to a lot of white MAGA. I've talked to female MAGA. But when it comes to Black MAGA, which is overwhelmingly men, mostly Black men, they on the Trump train full stop.
To the end.
Yeah, full stop.
They're on the way to the bottom of the ocean. They on that shit. They on the SS Trump to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh my God.
It is ridiculous how some of the shit these people say. And the black people, like, they really be attacking people like, you're beneath me. Like, I don't even know how, I can't even associate with somebody like you and this and that. Like, what?
That, you know what that sounds like? Have you ever heard of the character played by Dave Chappelle called Clayton Bigsby?
Yes.
It's kind of like, you want to hold up a mirror like, do you realize who the fuck you are? Like, you talking like, you talk when you mean I'm beneath you. You look just like me.
They hate their skin because it's black. I'm telling you. They really wish they wasn't black. That's what the problem is. It has to be.
I can see that, but I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. You are black. You're not gonna be to give that skin tone away. So, but yeah.
And another thing, I had said something about Trump falling asleep. I said, listen. I said, regardless of how you feel about him, I said, this is making America look bad. Have you ever been out the country? I said, yes. So you haven't been out the country like him. He's jet lagged and he's this and he's blah 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 blah. And I'm like, maybe he is. I said, but it doesn't matter. I said, it's not a good look for us as a country to have our leader falling asleep at summits on live TV doing stuff like that. That's embarrassing.
Not only is it embarrassing, but it's ridiculous because when Biden went out there and had that terrible debate with Trump on June 27th back in 2024, his side said that he was sick or something like that. That's why he performed so bad. Nobody gives a shit why you perform bad. It's just they only notice that you perform bad. So trying to defend Trump by saying he's jet lagged, then if you jet lag, go take a fucking rest. You don't go out there and do some goofy shit and expect people to, well, he's jet lagged, we'll give him a pass. Trump would not give anybody a pass for being jet lagged.
It's happening every week, Tim.
Yeah.
Every week. He did it this week. He did it yesterday or the day before. Every day, every week it happens at least once. Like this is unseen. And of course they brought up Biden, and I said you called Biden Sleepy Joe. I said, but Biden doesn't even fall. I said you can't find this many times Biden falling asleep on live TV.
No,
That's a good point.
That's because he hid in the basement. Did he? Whatever. Well, then that's what Trump needs to do.
You raise a good point. Is that Joe Biden had the nickname Sleepy Joe by a guy who now has been seen falling asleep in public more than Joe Biden. You are correct. There is more video footage of Trump falling asleep in public meetings, in the Oval Office while people are around him and shit, in press conferences. There are more videos of him falling asleep than there are of Biden. Now, we can say Trump's on TV more or whatever excuse you want to come up with, but the fact is, this dude was the one known for calling other people sleepy, and now he's getting caught sleeping.
And then there got time when when Marco was in front of the Congress or the Senate or whatever, and they're showing him, he's not sleep. Like, what? Are you fucking serious, dude? Like, come on, Marco.
Yeah, I don't like the excuses, because most of the stuff that they're using to defend Trump for falling asleep or something like that, they would never accept that if you use that as an excuse for Biden doing the same thing. And
think about it, Tim. If he's lying about that, what else is he gonna lie about? Marco Rubio. If you're running for now, if he ends up being the front runner for president, you literally lied there and said this man is not sleeping. You know he was sleeping.
Well, I'm going to defend the Trump camp by bringing up this woman, because she lied about Biden's cognitive health as well. Kamala Harris was not honest about Biden's decline either.
You cannot compare what's happening with Joe Biden versus what's happening with Trump.
Well, I'm just saying lying. I'm not trying to compare the quantity of lies. I'm just simply saying Kamala Harris was just as steadfast that Biden was totally healthy, and he wasn't.
I get it, Tim, but they had a picture of the man sleep. They had the video that showed him.
I'm not arguing with you.
The man sleeping.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. Trump is certainly doing it more, but I'm just simply saying Kamala Harris, she made it sound like Biden was a lot more alert than he was too, but MAGA saw Biden not being alert, and they're making excuses for Trump doing the same shit.
Tim, I'm so tired of this MAGA shit. I mean, like, I'm Trump fatigued. Because it's just unbelievable what's happening in this country. Like what he did last night. Why is Obama not suing this man? I don't understand why he's not suing him.
Well,
he's talking about he's burning burn bags and they got caught and this and that. But where's your proof? Nah, I'm suing you. He got sued for misinformation, right?
If you're going to sue Trump, I would highly recommend you do it after he leaves the office. Though the courts are not unbiased at this point, so I wouldn't sue Trump right now. I would wait till he leaves office. I don't think you can sue a president right now. I don't think you can even do it legally anyway.
Sue his administration. Somebody needs to get sued. Somebody needs to get sued. Like he's basically saying Obama was doing election fraud.
Yeah,
he's lying. You're saying it with no proof, and then you're sitting up there talking about you're basically blaming your own administration. The guy that's in charge of the CIA right now was the guy that had Tulsi Gabbard's position when Trump doing his first term, and he was blaming whoever he was blaming last night. That's who he was blaming, correct?
Yeah, my guess is if you want to sue Trump for defamation, I would say stand in line. I mean, I would assume CNN has a legitimate, defamation case. All the stuff he said about CNN, all of that stuff ain't true. Same thing of MSNBC. Caitlin Collins of CNN, she don't smile and all this crazy shit. There's a lot of people because Trump is suing people and trying to have people removed off the air like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and stuff for saying negative things about him. If folks take Trump's lead and say, well, since you've shown us that you need to sue people that defame you, that could really cost Trump a lot of money and a lot of heartache. And you can still sue his estate after he's dead as well. I mean, the guy got an infinite amount of money. So the minute he's out of office, look, put in some lawsuits. These are easy victories. He said stuff about people that is easy to prove it's not true.
Shit, he threatened ABC and NBC's licenses last night.
Yeah. And in the comments, MAGA Reaction, I think Trump and both said that he has immunity. You don't have immunity to just make up lies. If you're going to say that I'm on TV right now and CNN is too coward to cover me, and they're actually filming you while you say, you don't have immunity from that. You can't just make up lies and say I got immunity.
Isn't that defamation or whatever? What he did?
Yeah, he has immunity he has immunity in terms of decisions he makes in regards to the office of the president, like killing Venezuelans in boats and shit. He actually has immunity from that. That's something he alleges was done to protect the country. But just making up absolute lies about people, you don't have immunity from that.
And then they sitting up there bragging about war crimes, about blowing up bridges and stuff.
Yeah, that, you know something they say?
He said infrastructure day.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. That is part of my notes. That is part of my notes for today's show. I didn't bring it up, but yes, Trump is now trying to destroy Iranian infrastructure. What I was going to ask is this. Do you think, what are the chances you believe that that war will be over with by the midterms?
It won't be. Unless they do some real crazy travesties. The problem is, and this is what I've been saying, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but the problem is, no, Iran cannot beat America militarily.
True.
But they're out strategy. They're strategizing better by destroying the economy. If they shut up that other that the Houthis, if they activate the Houthis and have them shut up that other strait,
the Red Sea or something like the Red Sea or something like that.
Yeah, by the Red Sea. If they haven't, bro, it's going to destroy the economy, the world's economy, and everybody's gonna they're gonna try to turn everybody against America. And like I keep saying, if the dollar is removed from the world's platform, we're in trouble. We will be in some deep shit. I think some deep shit. I think at this point, because Trump has pissed off so many people and done so many things that is adversarial to so many nations, so I think some of the deep shit is unavoidable at this point. I mean, there's gonna be repercussions for some of the stuff Trump has did that's been negative to a lot of our allies, no matter what happens going in the midterms and going forward. But I gotta move it on. This is where we're at. This is just where we're at. Appreciate you coming through. How do you fix it, though? How do you fix it? If the next person is how do they fix it in 8 years? It would be no way. It's unbelievable.
Some of it cannot be fixed because folks have made permanent decisions based on it. Some of it, time and apologies may help. Like the tariffs, for instance. When Trump started tariffing those nations, some of those nations went and found other countries to do business with. And they've already entered long-term contracts with those other countries. So there's no way to fix that. You've lost that relationship. So some of it is not repairable in the foreseeable future. So
well, I hope if you and Gangsta Grandma do come together and do a live, that would be cool to see.
I'll see what I can do.
Maybe you can make her behave.
That might be off camera though. I gotta go. Appreciate it, Tamar. Thank you. Tap the screen. Get us up over the 100K hump. I played this at the beginning of the live, and a lot of you folks were not here, so I'm gonna play it again because I think it is worthy of discussing as well.
On profit, said his media company announcing plans to profit from the president's social media posts.
Yes, George, the president's media company will now sell quicker access to President Trump's social media posts on his social media platform, Truth Social. Users will be able to pay for immediate access to what the president says. The president has a history of announcing major things on Truth Social, from military action to domestic and foreign policy trade deals, long before we even get an official statement from the White House. And that's what has watchdog groups particularly concerned. This could give another way for President Trump to profit off of the presidency, George.
Right, so many of those posts have also been about companies the president has invested in.
So
the president also focused.
He's charging access to get his quotes, truths, what they used to call it tweet, but on Truth Social, it's called the truth or whatever. But if he posts something online, if you pay, you can get access to it quicker than the average viewer. I don't know how much quicker, but this is certainly something that could pertain to great significance financially for stock market investors and poly market gamblers. Because let's say, for instance, like he just talked about, he just threatened to impose a tax on Canada because he's claiming their wildfires are polluting the East Coast and the northern half of this country, and he's blaming the Canadians on how they deal with their own foliage and what do you want to say, litter or whatever. So he's saying the Canadians did not do things right. Therefore, they got a wildfire going on and it's polluting America. So he stated he wants them to pay for what's coming over here, and he's going to add a tariff to them for that. So if you are, so if you are getting access to that message before everybody else, then you know which Canadian industries to particularly invest in. So what he is doing is, if you pay to get his messages before everybody else, only reason why you would do that is for financial gain. That's the only reason why you would do that. So and who knows how much he's going to charge, but this counters. Now this is Trump. I played this at the beginning of the live. I'll play it again because it's only a few quick seconds. It's kind of low, but hopefully you can hear it. This is Mamdani of New York.
Question: if the city council passes this pay raise bill, I know you've said you won't accept.
I will not accept the pay raise.
Can you just elaborate on why?
I haven't knocked on anyone's door in New York City and they said their concern is that the mayor makes too little. So
Thank you, everyone.
That's not my concern either.
Thank you.
Like, it won't be mine. If it was mine, then that would mean I would accept. Yeah. To go to the pockets of those who are struggling in this city.
So just to give you a clearer, let you know what was said here if you couldn't hear it. Mamdani they voted in a pay raise for Mamdani. So his pay was going to go up to like $309,000 a year. A lot of money, by the way. But he is running America's largest city. So there's a lot of work to being mayor of New York. But $309,000 was going to be his salary, and he is refusing to take the pay raise. And they asked him why, and he said, out of all the doors I've knocked on, nobody have ever told me that they were concerned with the mayor not making enough money. In other words, when he knocked on doors and he asked people, what are your biggest concerns when he was running for mayor, nobody ever told him, my concern is the mayor doesn't make enough money. So they then asked him, well, where do you want that money to go? And he said, I want it to go to people that are struggling. That's a great answer. It's a great answer for a politician to make. Certainly at a time when you got President Trump charging for access. It's a great answer. Now remember, he's the socialist. He's the bad guy. Trump is the good guy. Just want to point that out. Anyway, tap the screen, look it in the comment section. Anybody invest in Trump's media is stupid. Is going to go bankrupt just like any other. But you're not investing in Trump's media in this case. You're paying for privilege in getting the information. So, because Trump does a lot of stuff on social media. People get fired on social media. Military decisions get made on social media. A lot of announcements that Trump makes comes by way of his Truth Social account before he goes on television and says it. Oftentimes, even before the people that work for him know. What is her name? Kristi Noem, former South Dakota governor, Kristi Noem. She got fired on Truth Social. She was actually involved in a meeting, a press conference or something. She was actually talking to folks. And the folks started looking down at their devices and shit and telling her, you don't have a job no more. She got so he announced on Truth Social before he even told her, you're fired. So imagine if some of them folks in the audience had paid for access and some didn't. There's going to be people in that audience that know that information before everybody else, including perhaps Kristi Noem. So if Trump is threatening to tariff folks, threatening to fire folks, threatening to bomb Iran or bomb bridges or what, you can make bets on the poly market and you can invest in the stock market based on that information before anybody else can, because you know it first. There's value to that. I don't know how much Trump is going to charge for it, but he's charging, and that's, to me, I don't see how you could describe that as anything other than insider trading, insider information. Why should any stock trader know information specifically before anybody else because they paid money to know it? That, to me, sounds corrupt. I'm just going to say, to me, that sounds corrupt. Anyway, looking in the comment section before we move on, Biden's term wasn't that bad. He signed good legislation, but the influx of millions through the border that a study showed it raised housing prices and lowered wages, and the Afghanistan fiasco. Well, the Afghanistan, look, some of those scandals that Biden dealt with, I give President Trump credit for making huge mountains out of molehills, because keep in mind, there were 13 people that lost their lives when we tried to evacuate from Afghanistan, and they were able to pin that to President Biden, like a thorn in his side his whole term. We've lost 13 people in Iran as well. There are 13 people that died under Trump as well, and many believe that war is unnecessary. But the Democrats are not going around yelling 13 dead over and over and over again. So you got to score that to the Trump side. The Trump side is really good at bashing you with a flaw by repeating it over and over and over and over again. Like, for instance, the people being let in at the border. Now, Trump says it's open borders, completely open borders. Said the same thing when Obama was in office. It was open borders, but then yet they blamed Obama for separating families. How can he be for open borders and separating families simultaneously? He's the deporter-in-chief, but he's also for open borders. He can't be both. But they are savvy enough to pin this shit to people, and it does stick. Like right now, they're trying to pin the whole Democrat Party as all being communist. For MAGA, that's working. I get nothing but MAGA after MAGA after MAGA calling the Democrat Party communist, even though there's not a single Democrat running for any office claiming to be a communist. That's totally fabricated by the Trump side of the aisle. Nobody's claiming to be a communist. In fact, there's only a handful of people claiming to be a socialist. But they've come to realize calling a person a socialist doesn't have the same negativity orbiting around it. So what they're saying is, well, if you become a socialist, that means you're going to later translate to a communist. So we're going to call you a communist now. Because calling people a socialist isn't scaring anybody anymore. So now they've upped it to communist. Nobody's running as a communist, though. So the Trump administration is really good at sticking negative labels onto you. I mean, think about how many people still believe the election was stolen. They've been able to stick that Democrats steal elections label on the Democrats, and there is not even any proof it's being done. So they've been really good at that. But the Christian capitalists get a free pass, right? Yeah, and I don't agree with it. Biden's, what does I say in the comments here? Tap the screen. What am I missing out on? Donald Trump called American military suckers and losers. But this is what I'm talking about. The Democrats are not as good at sticking those labels like that. The Democrat Party, defund the police. They're still using it, by the way, as a label against the Democrats. Meanwhile, the Republican Party, despite what Trump supported that happened to the Capitol Police on January 6th by pardoning all of the folks that beat up the Capitol Police, called them patriots, and intended to give them money, the Democrats haven't done anything to take away the notion that the Republican Party is the party for law and order. They really mistreated some Capitol Police that day. And like I said, in addition to pardoning them after beating up Capitol Police, Trump called them patriots, sung the national anthem with them, and had intended on giving them money for doing it. Yet they've been able to affix the label that the Democrat Party is anti-police. The Democrats ain't got shit on the Republicans when it comes to affixing labels. Republicans are much better at doing that. Much better at doing that. Real men fight and win wars. The same real men, Democrats and liberal news propaganda smeared as toxic masculinity. I don't recall every Democrat I know smearing men. This is what I'm talking about. He's doing it right now with the labels. All Democrats don't know what a woman is. All Democrats are involved in toxic masculinity, whatever he's talking about. Meanwhile, if you see a racist Republican and you say all Republicans are racist, MAGA goes apeshit. In other words, do not brand my party with the mindset of only what a few are thinking, but let me do it to your party. It's okay. Because all liberals do not believe that men should play against women in sports. I'm one that don't believe that should happen. I don't favor juveniles having, gender reassigning surgery, any of that shit. But because I'm Democrat, MAGA will happily say I do. But if I said all MAGA are racist because of some MAGA that I met that was a racist, they wouldn't like that. They would not like that. So just think about how that works. They did it during the 2024 presidential election. Liberal media and Democrats tried making Tim Sugar Walsh as a man's man. Okay? So do I point out the pedophiles that you guys tried to make as senators? I mean, does that mean we say all Republicans are pedophiles? Look, you want to smear? Let's smear. There's a bunch of folks on the right that were pedophiles, and the right was still trying to vote them in office. So do we want to say all the right is pedophiles because you're trying to attribute Tim Walsh to the whole Democrat Party? Let's do it the right way. Why does sick MAGA coat protect the pedo in chief? Perfect example. Everybody knows that President Trump is at the very least protecting pedophiles. Even if you don't believe he did anything to a child, you know he's protecting them because both Bobart and Marjorie Taylor Greene even told you that. He's protecting pedophiles. Not to mention Ghislaine Maxwell is now in a camp, thanks to him. There's no reason that woman should be in a camp. That's part of his party. Do we ignore that Trump is protecting pedophiles if you want to point out things the Democrats are doing? Let's judge it. Let's be fair with it. You want to smear a party. So if you're going to smear the party as being socialist and communist, then we would smear the MAGA side as saying, you guys protect pedophiles. Using the logic you're using. Pedos, man, both sides. Yeah, whatever. Your party's protecting pedophiles from the very top. I don't go into airport restrooms because there could be a Republican in there. Oh my Lord. Anyway, never seen that many Christians look the other way at one time. Trump gave the right things that the Christian community has been wanting for a long time. So that's why Christian community are looking the other way. Trump is doing some things that the Christians have wanted, certainly when it comes to protecting the sanctity of the unborn, by having abortions, or what do you call it, pregnancy terminations, or whatever you want to call it, by putting big limits on that. Whole states have banned abortion because of Trump. So even though Trump himself is a flawed man, is a sinner, he's doing things the evangelical community has been wanting for decades. So he does get some credit for that. I mean, he gets some credit for doing that. Bill Clinton left office with okay, I don't know why you're bringing up Bill Clinton. The pedophile problem was way too big to hide and too juicy not to exploit. Both sides. I don't want to hear both sides. When one side runs as exposing the deep state and draining the swamp and all that shit, and then that side fails, I don't want to go back to both sides. Look, you told us for the last 10 years how bad the Democrats were. So we needed to vote in Trump because he was going to correct the error of the Democrat ways. Expose the deep state, drain the swamp, all the shit the Democrats were not doing. Now that Trump is in there and he's failing at virtually all of his campaign promises, well, it's both sides. We were already talking about the Democrats when they were in office. They're gone now. We put this dude in because he was going to be the fixer. Well, the last guy didn't do it either. Then what the fuck are you in here for? The both sides argument, no, that ain't what you do. You talked about Biden and his failures when he was president. Now that he is gone and the guy that's in there is failing at the same task, we don't go back to talking about Biden. We focus on the guy that's in there now that is failing the way we focused on the guy that was in there then that was failing at that time. There's no reason to be talking about Biden in 2026 at this point. The guy that's in there, either he's living up to his campaign promises or he's failing. That's it. Let's talk about Biden some more. Biden's gone. The guy's got stage 4 prostate cancer. The dude's almost dead. He's gone. Explain why your guy ain't living up to his campaign promises. Biden created this. But that's the point. You said Biden created it when he was president. He's gone now. The guy who promised to fix it, look, let's say, for instance, I'm in your house and I break something or I damage something. And it's pretty clear I damaged it. You cuss me out, you kick me out, all that shit. So you hire a carpenter to come in. The carpenter don't promise to fix it. Okay, if the carpenter comes in and fucks it up, does he get, well, you know that other guy caused all this. I think we kind of knew that already, right? That's why you hired the carpenter. Does it make any sense for the carpenter to sit there and complain about, well, you know the other guy caused all this? To me, you guys make Trump really look like a failure by doing that stuff. It really does, by trying to continue bringing up Biden. We've been talking about years he was in office about how you want to suggest he was a failure at the economy and all the other shit. He's gone now for almost 2 years. And the only defense for Trump is to go back and talk about Biden some more. Talking about Biden ain't gonna fix shit. It ain't gonna fix shit. Either the dude that's in office now is gonna fix what's going on, or he needs to be fucking replaced. We don't need a history lesson. Well, Biden caused it. The problem is in our face now, whatever it is, whether it's the economy, whether it's Iran, whatever you want to talk about. That problem is in our face now. Bringing up that Biden, what does that got to do? Okay, well, we want to bash Biden a little bit more. Okay, fine, go bash Biden. That ain't going to solve the problem we're dealing with, though. And that's not making Trump look any better. Trump is a racist, his user. Yikes. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 104,000. I'll leave it at B. I appreciate you folks tuning in this evening. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll certainly be here tomorrow if you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle. Follow us if you're watching us on Instagram, Substack, TikTok, or Clapper. And if you happen to be catching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I'll see you guys mañana. Take care.